up in front of you, right in front of the grandstand. 16 drivers coming here to Mondello, a championship at stake, the midway point in the championship, round 3. Hit them with a wall of sound all the way around Mondello Park as they come down in front of you. These guys are getting themselves geared up for one of the biggest events of their life. A championship at stake for some of these guys, but also you're going to be sick of hearing a €20,000 being brought home by the winner of this event. Duane McKeever, the first driver down on track here, he is going up against close friend Kevin Quinn in the top 16. Undefeated in Ireland and England this year. As he comes down in front of you, make some noise for the Northern Smoke Machine, Duane McKeever!
Thanks, Ed. So yeah, remember we were talking about those really sticky burnout boxes breaking all the drive shafts. Well, yeah, that is a thing. So we line up our top 16. It is 16 people. Gary, my good man. This is what it's all about right here. €20,000. €20,000 for the winner. 16 drivers on the grid. Mondello, are you excited? We're going to introduce them. We're going to let you know who they are. And if you want this guy, the guy I say, not the first, but any of these drivers to win that €20,000, we want you to make some noise. First up, he is the current undefeated driver this year in both Ireland and the UK. Please give it up for Duane McKeever! He goes up against good friend, but maybe not after today. He is in the Quinn M Sport 180. Give it up for Kevin Quinn! Our next driver has been away for a little bit of time, but he's back in action this weekend. Will you please give a warm welcome back to Tomas Kylie? And of course, our next driver, he's been qualifying sensationally this morning and says he's coming for everyone this weekend. Give it up for Doyle! In the drift taxi, of course, if you're heading out tonight in Dublin and you need to get home very quickly, this is the man to give a shout to. He is also running 600 horsepower in this taxi and he's an ex-champion. Give it up for Brendan Stone! And the man that gave him 20 quid to bring him from the pits and back in again, because he has no car, it's getting fixed as I give it up for Shane O'Sullivan! You can say it once, say it twice, hashtag CV58. He is on a pro top 16 grid. Give it up for Chris Burnett! Well, another one of our pro rookies this year and an incredible looking machine all the way from Galway. Please give it up for OLaughlin! And it doesn't look like rain today, but there may be some thunder. Please give it up all the way from Australia for Mitch, Lerner! And ignorantly running into the back of Mitch Lerner here in the parade is, of course, the party man. Give it up for Charlie Geary! He used to come to these events and we used to call him the forever underdog. Now he's the forever contender. Will you please give it up for Paul McCarthy? In a borrowed car that he had no practice in and now making it through to the top 16. Will you please give it up for the young gun, Alan Hines? With one of the most sensational qualifying sessions we've ever seen from someone coming up through the ranks so fast. He is the underdog to watch today. Give it up for Mark McBurney! And the only thing on the grid that you need sunglasses more than the weather, it is of course the incredible M3 of Dean Martin! And the last two guys are hunting their first ever IDC win. They've been in this game a long time and been very close. Give it up firstly for Drift Games, Mikey Fitz! And last but certainly not least, please give it up for the Team Dealt With driver, Brian Egan! Now, it's a little hot out here, which is nice compared to the rain we usually get all the time in Mondello. So we're going to have some fun today. We're going to have a lot of fun out on track. The track is extremely difficult, extremely grippy. It's going to be very hard on these guys, both inside the car and keeping them maintained outside the car. There's going to be a lot of teams in the pits that are going to keep these cars running, aiming for that €20,000. Now, before we head for that €20,000, it's important to remember and not be numb about how incredible this grid is, how incredible the talent from Ireland at the moment is. Right now, as we stand here, obviously an Irishman is winning the Irish Drift Championship. An Irishman is winning the British Drift Championship. An Irishman is winning the European Drift Championship. and an Irishman is winning the Formula Drift Championship. Every single championship in Western world is being led by an Irish person, making this our most successful sport out of every single sport we do in this country. And the reason it's so successful is not only the talent that's on this grid, but it's all you guys. You're the guys that come here and sit in that grandstand and cheer, and you encourage these guys not only to be successful here, to be successful across the world. I'm going to go ahead and say it that we may be the highest ranked country in this sport in the world by the end of this year. And it's going to take a lot of support from all of you guys. And some of these guys on the grid are going to go out to other countries and do exactly just that. That means that here, right in Mondello, right in the home of Irish drifting, this is where they need their largest support. I've heard fans from every country in the world cheer for Irish people, but Irish people need to support them more. Now, we're a humble nation. We get embarrassed in large spaces. We don't like to jump around and say too much. We kind of just nod and clap. But I need every single person in this grandstand to stand up right now. Everybody stand up. And all of you guys, can you guys, hands up, can you hear me all the way on the bank? Can you guys hear me? Hands up, yeah. You guys over here, you can hear me? Awesome, okay. Now we're gonna make a cheer. That's all you gotta do, one cheer that absolutely blows the roof off that grandstand. You guys over here make as much noise as possible all the way around the bank. We want something that just strikes so much adrenaline into their veins for €20,000 on the line that they are dying to get out there and put on a show for you guys who turned up today. Mondello, make some noise! Can we go louder? Can we go louder? Can we go louder? As this is, of course, our national championship, and these guys go to war not only for your entertainment, but across the globe. Right now, we are going to play our national anthem. This is round 3. This is the prize fight. Stay on your feet for one moment. One moment, stay on your feet. One moment. I saw you sitting down. Now, we have been at this venue for years, maybe 10 years. And this grandstand, you guys over here, and have been the greatest fans ever that I've been around the world listening to. But today, there's something different. There's €20,000 on the line. That never existed before. It's the highest in the history of Irish motorsport, which means that it's super hyped here. Everybody's super tense. But I want to make them just a little bit more tense. I want them to give them one last cheer before they head into those cars in that heat to come out here and compete, do or die for that €20,000. I want a cheer louder than any other grandstand in the past. And that means that every single person, every single one of you is going to have to cheer. If somebody lets the side down here, this will just be like an average 5-6 Mondello cheer. But if it goes to 10, that means every single person here roars in the air. And because everyone's doing it, you don't have to be embarrassed about it. You're not too cool for it. So, on the count of 3, I want everyone to scream and stomp their feet. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Mondello, make some noise! That is what it's all about. Well, that leaves me one more phrase to say, and it's my favorite phrase. 20 G's, baby! Gentlemen, start your engines!
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our top 16 drivers, and we take a quick look ahead at some of the battles that we will be seeing in the top 16. Duane McKeever, unbeaten in Ireland and England in 2018, coming up against Kevin Quinn, who's in battle adversity to get to the top 16 today. Tomas returns to competitive action this weekend for one event only. He's coming up against veteran and a man who has a new addition to his family, his newborn son, just arriving this weekend, Shane O'Sullivan, and what it would mean to him on such a monumental weekend in his life to take it to the top step of the podium. Joe Doyle taking on Brendan Stone. That one is just going to be a battle to the death between two guys that have been on form this weekend. Chris Burnett and Alan O'Loughlin, those two guys ready to go to war against each other. A spot in the Great Eight up for grabs, and both of those drivers really relishing the opportunity to take it into the next stage of competition. Mitch Lerner coming all the way from Australia with a brand new engine for this weekend. He is hoping to take down that streak, and he's going up against Charlie Geary, who has been growing into the round as it has progressed. Paul McCarthy and Alan Hines in that borrowed car promises to be a very interesting battle. McCarthy, of course, a three-time winner of the Irish Drift Championship in terms of rounds. Alan Hines, of course, having never stepped foot on top of that podium. Mark McBurney and Dean Martin, blood boiling between the two of those guys, and they are getting ready to go to war. A great opportunity again for two drivers making a name for themselves in the pro class, while Mikey Fitz and Brian Egan, two guys very familiar with each other who have battled tooth and nail in the past, Dave. They will be going up against each other in the final battle of the top 16. It's getting a little bit nervous out there, and the promise of that prize money is starting to really play on people's minds.
I mean, I just said to our track manager there, we need to move the Burnett box back because it's actually like glue. I went down there, just did half a turn, drive skid straight out of the car. It is incredible on the ground there. You can actually stick to the floor. That's how much rubber these guys laid down. Incredible. So we have 16 guys left, Eddie. And it's hyped in Mondello Park. 16 guys, the sun is shining, €20,000 for the winner. Remember, the guy who comes second place loses €19,300 in one battle of drifting. That's the intensity that's out there today.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's crazy. You know, if it was 20 grand split between two people, you'd say one thing, but, you know, that's such a big drop, and you know, for the winner it's great, but for the loser, heartbreak. And Duane McKeever now, can he keep his run of good luck or his good form alive? And he's going up against good friend Kevin Quinn, but this is by no means, Dave, an easy top 16 battle for Duane McKeever.
No, and again, Kevin Quinn is going to have absolutely no fear of him. He knows his style. He actually started to change his driving style a little bit to be like Duane, using the clutch very heavily. Kevin Quinn wants to be the best in this country, and if you want to be the best right now, you've got to beat Duane McKeever. That's going through his head. He was up there, I was talking to him, he's relaxed, he's hungry for it. He's not even nervous, he's hungry, because he knows Duane goes in here as the favourite. So you go in there as the underdog, you've nothing to lose, and he knows Duane is fast. He's gonna, I can imagine Kevin Quinn's car may either come home from this first battle with an advantage or may end up in the wall. I'm just gonna say it now because he's going that hard.
Yeah, for the likes of Duane McKeever, that, you know, he knows exactly what he's gonna do with this €20,000. That would go a long way towards bringing him to that European Championship and competing on a European scale that he has never been able to do in the past. And as they leave the start line, they come down the stretch side by side. Now Quinn tucks in. Look at the entry though from both of them, Dave. Big angle and very fast through that first section. But McKeever has a bit of a gap here, opened up on Kevin Quinn as Quinn looks to make the dive down the inside.
Yeah, Quinn's coming for it now. He's trying to dive into that last corner, into the hairbit of Quinn now. Starts to apply the pressure onto the door of McKeever. And he's right back in the fight here as they come. Look at that from Quinn. Grazing the back bumper of Duane McKeever's car as they come back towards Link ECU corner, and he's right there with Duane McKeever.
Yeah, another big dive from Kevin Quinn down the inside, and he knows that he is up against one of the best in the business when it comes to chase driving. One of the best in the business, full stop, and Kevin Quinn gave it absolutely everything. Maybe not door to door the entire way around. Look at this though, big gap, and then closes it down, Dave, as they come into Link ECU corner, and that's where Kevin Quinn stays. He maintains that proximity, which is vital throughout the rest of the run, and really puts it up to the former two-time Irish Drift Championship Duane McKeever.
I mean, if I'm Duane McKeever right now and he's looking at that bracket, it's a long day at the office for him. I mean, he has to go up against the winner of Tomas, Kiley and Shane O'Sullivan after this. So there's going to be no easy road for Duane McKeever.
Provided,
here.
of course, he wins this battle.
Absolutely. I'm just saying if he does, that is a long road. And Kevin Quinn is not going to lay down here whatsoever in the second half of this one.
No, certainly not. He didn't lay down, but he needs to pull out a big lead run here and hope that he can pull a bit of a gap.
But I'm telling you, Eddie, the story will be, can the cars hold up? Will they hold up run after run? We could see a car shut down at any moment here with an issue like a diff or a drive shaft or anything. It's just ridiculous out there. I mean, I was out there a few moments ago in the car. The grip levels are unbelievable. Like, you can barely drift the car. There's that much grip in the car. You're full throttle and it feels like you're underpowered. That's going to be the story here as they come off the line. Kevin Quinn in the lead position, Duane McKeever in the chase position. What has McKeever got?
Look at this though from McKeever, bumper to bumper, Dave, as they come down the straight, and McKeever's right there with Quinn as they go.
Oh, McKeever on the dive.
What a transition as they head towards Link ECU. Now Kevin Quinn though puts foot to floor. Can McKeever stay with him as he just breathes through the smoke? Quinn goes to the wall, McKeever goes there with him, door to door, wheel to wheel, Dave, in the teardrop as they head out to the final wall section of the track. McKeever not able to stay on the door the entire way around, and this one hangs in the balance as McKeever puts down the proximity side by side as they cross the line.
That's
Mondello
incredible.
make some noise.
Incredible driving from Duane McKeever and Kevin Quinn. Grandstand, give them a cheer.
Wow. What was that from Kevin Quinn and Duane McKeever? They're out of the cars, guys. Hit them with a wall of sound.
Incredible stuff. The result is in though. Will it be Quinn? Will it be McKeever? Who's going through to the top 8? It's Duane McKeever! Duane McKeever gets the win and goes through to the top 8. Quickly back to our judges, guys. A great battle to kick off this top 16.
Fantastic battle there. Great driving by both drivers. Comparing the lead runs first, both drivers doing very good lead runs. No real mistakes in the lead position. It really all comes down to the chase. Unfortunately for Kevin, Duane just having far more aggression there, far more proximity the whole way throughout the track, and Kevin making a couple of small errors, and it was enough for Duane to take the win overall.
So there you have it. Duane McKeever moves on to the grade 8 and one step closer to that €20,000 prize fund.
This is a big one, Eddie. This is a big one. Tomas, Kiley and Shane O'Sullivan, if you're a fan of Irish drifting, you'll know what this means. And one of our drivers, we were just informed from our drag marsh, just making it to the line on time. And Shane O'Sullivan and Tomas Kiley. Shane O'Sullivan did not go to the parade. His car was being worked on. They say it's A-OK now. And Tomas Kiley returning.
Iceman.
He is the Kimi Räikkönen of Irish drifting, Tomas Kiley, and he is going up against Shane O'Sullivan. Now this is a big battle. You could say this is a final, you could say this is a top 4, but here they are in the top 16 going 1-on-1. I would not like to call this one.
No, certainly not. I mean, Tomas Kiley has won here in Mondello Park in the past. He is returning for one round only with one thing on his mind, and that is to take home that prize money. Tomas Kiley is one of the best drivers that we have ever produced in Irish drifting, but he is going up against one of the best drivers that Europe has ever produced. Shane O'Sullivan, a former British Drift Championship winner. He is a multiple upon multiple podium.
Well, think about it this way, Eddie. Shane O'Sullivan has won more trophies than Tomas Kiley, but Tomas Kiley has won an IDC event. They have to stack that up against each other. Shane O'Sullivan more consistent, but Kiley has got the job done and gone top of the podium. This is going to be stressful for both drivers. They both know each other's styles. They both know what they're all about. Kiley in that bright green S14, 850 horsepower. He's just 18 years of age. He goes up against Shane O'Sullivan, one of the veterans of the sport, in that Jap Speed S15. And it is green lights are go as Kiley leads in Shane O'Sullivan, and they go through the gears and up over the hill in Mondello. Here we go.
Yeah, big aggressive entry as they flick through that first corner. Kiley starts to pull the gap. What a Sully got, makes a big dive, dives on a lot of angle to try and scrub that speed as they get back on the power now, and you can just see how difficult it is to just see through that smoke. But a big straighten and a problem here, I think, for Shane O'Sullivan. But he gets that car now back on angle. Can he recover through the final sections of the circuit as Kiley just looks unstoppable right now?
He's got serious pace in that car, Tomas Kiley. Looked like Shane O'Sullivan was suffering to stay with him on that run, but a great solid run from both drivers. Now we're starting to see the action start to hot up here, pardon the pun, in Mondello. And Shane O'Sullivan would have said that kid is fast through that first corner. He had to make a big dive, locking up all 4 on the transition.
Yeah, really quick. You can just see it again here on your screens. And Shane O'Sullivan just a little bit wide of that second zone. And just see the amount of angle that he dials on and then just tucks himself in, gets on the door of Kiley. But this is where, look, a straighten and a big straighten here from Shane O'Sullivan as he drives a significant portion of the track, Dave.
Dare I say it, Tomas Kiley, I think, is the fastest man around this track. He has a car dialed in very, very well at this stage, 850 horsepower, lots of grip. But we have seen in the past when he's got towards the end of it, the car has sometimes, and it's been a long time since heating issues have come into that car, but at the moment it looks like it's A-OK, and it's a big challenge for anyone coming up against him. Shane O'Sullivan will now switch into the lead position, and that means essentially that Shane O'Sullivan will dictate the pace here. Kiley knows he's got the pace on O'Sullivan, so if he's not on the door, the judges will be saying what he should be, and it'll only take a big error. But then again, both of these drivers prone to errors at times when it comes to the big show, so anything can happen. The great thing about drifting is you think half of the battle's over and you go, oh well, it's all over now, that's the end of it, and then it just switches back the other way all of a sudden. That's what makes it so exciting, and that's what makes it so unique to any other motorsport. You make one error in drifting and you're going home, or in other motorsports you can make an error, get yourself back into the race, steady the head. Not so much in this game.
Yeah, and talk about errors. I mean, how daunting is just the first few clipping zones in this particular track, downhill, off camber, upwards of 70 miles an hour into a very tight section of the circuit. And of course, these guys have in the past had incidents at that third clipping zone. Look at this, side by side.
Look at Kiley.
Kiley is all over the door of that Jap-Speed S15 and makes a big dive now down the inside as they come through Link ECU corner. Kiley's all over Shane O'Sullivan. Can O'Sullivan respond in kind? Can he pull a gap here as they come into the slower section of the circuit?
Look at Kiley
hounding O'Sullivan, just stays glued to him the whole way around the circuit. And for me, right now, Tomas Kiley's the man to beat in this competition. As O'Sullivan,
you can't even see the circuit anymore with these two. Guys, give it up for Tomas Kiley and Shane O'Sullivan.
Mondello Park has disappeared under a cloud of smoke. Achilles and Max's tires just completely shredded, Dave.
I'm thinking my brain is nearly shredded at this stage, Eddie, because it is very sketchy to watch these guys transition in front of us. You see Kiley dipping a wheel on the first corner to try and stay in proximity with Shane O'Sullivan. Guys, the grandstand, we need you on board. Make some noise for Shane O'Sullivan and Tomas Kiley. So the judges having one last look at this one. And remember, it's for a space in the top 8, then there will just be 8 drivers going for €20,000.
Yeah, I'm wondering, could this one come back to the straighten on the first run from Shane O'Sullivan? Could that be the difference maker, Dave?
Yeah, wheel drop from Tomas Kiley on the second run. So it looks like the results are in. Who is going through to the top 8? Slide him left for Shane O'Sullivan, slide him right for Tomas Kiley. Which way is it going to go? And Tomas Kiley gets the win and goes through to face Duane McKeever in the top 8. Oh, mouth-watering stuff, but we got to go back to the judges quickly. Talk us through that one. Another great battle.
Yeah, really, really good battle there, Dave. It kind of comes back down, first run there. As Shane is transitioning back towards 6, there's a very, very large smoke cloud there, and he kind of chooses, rather than continue drifting, he straightens up and he drives all the way to the first wall clip at number 7 there. So unfortunately, he had to be heavily, heavily marked down for that. We're coming back out then, switch around the roles. Tomas is coming in and Shane is leading him. Shane kind of takes, starts to shallow off his angle a lot at number 2. Kiley puts a wheel up over the curb. Now, we even taking marginal points off for that, it's still Kiley gets a fairly large advantage for that chase run. Extremely aggressive and extremely good.
So our judges like it, Tomas Kiley's run, but now we move on to our next battle, another set of heavyweight contenders. Joe Doyle against Brendan Stone, both running his 1100 horsepower on the track, about to come over in 2 of the largest cars on the grid, an R33 Skyline and a GS 300.
Yeah, both those cars real heavyweights, and you know what? This one is a very interesting battle. You know, you have a former champion in Brendan Stone, and you have a man that is looking so aggressive and so comfortable. Very quick as well, Dave, is Joe Doyle through the circuit.
Yeah, one of the fastest guys on the track. Brendan Stone's going to have a tough time keeping him, and I think he's going to have to make as much of a jump as he possibly can here. And Joe Doyle's car, once it grips, it almost squats and goes, and Joe Doyle throws it in. Brendan Stone left already.
Yeah,
Eddie.
Brendan Stone having trouble keeping with that fast pace of Joe Doyle. Can he get it back here with a dive down the inside? Just shallows up the angle a little bit, does Brendan Stone, to try and gain that proximity. And now he starts to bring the fight to Joe Doyle, who's on a very good line as they come into the teardrop section.
Yeah, big lockup though for Brendan Stone as he hits the inside of that teardrop. And Joe Doyle's car is a rocket ship around here today. So much grip. And at the moment, Brendan Stone having very little option but to try and cut the course to gain that proximity.
Yeah,
I would say
cut the course quite significantly. No real answer to the pace of Joe Doyle, and he'll know that now going back up to the start line that he was essentially just beaten by a faster car.
Absolutely, and of course you can be out-carred, as we say here, but at the same time, if you are going to be out-carred, you've got to be very aggressive. Brendan Stone trying everything he could. You can see just missing some of those clipping zones to try and stay with the faster car. But of course, Brendan Stone would much prefer to be in that S15 with the Honda K20 engine, and that car getting some work done at the moment. So they're taking out the spare car. He said not as much fight in that as there is in the first choice car, but again a solid effort to get to top 16. But right now he's got work to do against Joe Doyle. Joe Doyle will go back in and know he has the pace against Brendan Stone here. He knows, but then again, I'm just thinking in the chase position here with a lot of stop starting behind a slower car, that's when you can see drive shafts and gearboxes and stuff start to give up. So it's going to be a real game of chess. I'm not sure how he's going to approach this.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what tactic he employs, as he obviously knows that he's, going to be. I think a lot of it's going to come down to the line that Brendan Stone has. If Brendan Stone has a good line, I think that'll make it easier for Joe Doyle. If he has a little bit of a scrappy line, that's when we could start seeing problems and mechanical issues for Joe Doyle, as he would be off the throttle a lot more than he might like to be.
Absolutely. So Brendan Stone will lead him out. Joe Doyle will be in the chase position. He's in that Quinn's Motorsport red and black R33. Brendan Stone leading him out in that grey GS 300. Here we go. Through the chicane goes both of these quite large cars, and through the gears they go as well as Brendan Stone leads him in. Look at Joe Doyle though, leaving a little bit of room, knowing it's the faster car, to try and catch him up to it.
Yeah, Brendan Stone grabbing a lot of understeer there, Dave, as he straightens through the first corner, and now
look at the dive from Joe Doyle.
Yeah, Joe Doyle really bringing the aggression now as he starts to zone in on the Stone Motorsport GS300. Big dive now onto the door as Brendan Stone takes it to the outer sections of the circuit.
Joe Doyle getting a little bit caught on the inside of the teardrop though, as now Brendan Stone starts to pull an advantage. Brendan Stone pulling enough to get himself back into the fight here. Joe Doyle had a very poor section there at the roundabout, and that could pay dividends here. That was interesting in the second half of the course. It looked like Brendan Stone making errors on the first half, but Joe Doyle making errors on the second half.
Yeah, I think this one could go back to a lead run versus lead run, chase run versus chase run. A number of errors made on the on the part of both drivers over the course of the two runs.
Absolutely,
but certainly some very good driving in there as well.
Yes, so let's come on, grandstand round of applause for Brendan Stone and Joe Doyle. We got to keep these guys pumped up. The result looks like it's coming in though. We'll slide him left for Brendan Stone, right for Joe Doyle, and Joe Doyle gets the win and goes through to the top 8. And it looks like he is going to join Duane McKeever and Tomas Kiley, start to stack up. We go back to our judges ever so quickly to talk us through that one.
Yeah, Joe had a really good lead run there in the first run of the battle. Brendan didn't really have proximity. Tried to catch up by shortcutting the track, never really gained proximity. So Joe goes away with a good, strong advantage after the first run. Second one, Brendan's lead run was only okay. Line could have been better, and Joe has proximity despite the awkward line that he was chasing. So again, another advantage to Joe in the second one.
So there you have it. Joe Doyle progresses through to our grade 8, and our grade 8 starting to take shape. 3 drivers already through. Duane McKeever and Tomas Kiley will be coming up against each other, but we have a score to settle here. Chris Burnett and Alan OLaughlin going head to head for a chance to get into the grade 8.
Yep. Both in very similar cars, similar setups, both with the same horsepower, both with the same amount of time sort of getting up to this pro level as well. A couple of years, they're both in this as pro rookies. So for me, this is a real chance for one of these guys to make a name for themselves, and across the world in the 30 countries that are watching on right now live, these are guys that might not be too familiar to everybody, but after this they will. Top 8 finish here, or if they even go for that top spot on the podium, be huge for any of these guys. They go in as underdogs, but one will see the better of this battle, and it's Chris Burnett to lead it. Look at OLaughlin.
OLaughlin right on the rear bumper of Burnett though as they fire down the straight. Now through that tight section in the middle of the circuit as they transition back to that outer zone. OLaughlin washes a little bit wide as he takes to that wide line, staying glued to Burnett though, and Burnett just can't get away from him as they transition back onto that first wall, keeping it wide through the second wall zone. Alan OLaughlin though, Dave, shallowing up just that little bit.
Look at this though, OLaughlin's trying to bring the fight as they transition back, but just got hung on a little bit too much
and
angle there.
Starting to lose a little bit of ground now through the final sections, and Burnett goes across the line. Alan OLaughlin follows.
Interesting run there from both of these guys as they cool those cars down, ready for the second half. Look at O'Loughlin's aggression on the first corner though. But he just, from here he starts to transition, then he makes a nice dive onto Chris Burnett, lets that car surge forward on a little bit of throttle, but has to dial a bit of angle, losing a little bit of ground there. So it's a very difficult track to stay close the whole time because of the transitions, because of how many wall runs and shutting down you've got to do, especially when you come from a very fast section into slow sections. It's working those cars extremely hard and
Absolutely,
those drivers.
and you're relying on the lead driver to put in that flawless or near flawless lead run to allow you that space in the chase position to transition properly behind them and to get close while maintaining an appropriate speed as well.
Absolutely. So it looks like they're back. Chris Burnett is back to the start line. We're waiting on Alan O'Loughlin, just taking a little bit of time to cool down his car, and Alan O'Loughlin in the lead position. Now, this is the question of Chris Burnett. How aggressive can he be here? I mean, he's got to be aggressive. O'Loughlin was right with him the whole way through. Burnett has been asked the question before and not always comes forward with the result. Right now, €20,000 up for grabs. You got to put it all on the line.
Yeah, he's got to give it everything he's got here, Dave. He knows that O'Loughlin was with him all the way through, but look at this. O'Loughlin goes a little bit wide. Burnett now takes the inside line. Burnett drops a couple of wheels though. Kicks up a bit of dust. Can he get back in this one as O'Loughlin puts foot to the floor?
He's got a tyre off the rim. Chris Burnett has a tyre off the rim in the chase position here. That dirt drop has loosened that tyre. He's got to do this without two tyres on the car. He's actually a puncture on the rear of the car, and they're shutting it down. Shutting down the run, as you can see, with the tyre on the back of the car coming off.
So, round of applause. Very unfortunate there for Chris Burnett. That tyre drop or that wheel drop at clip zone 3, causing the tyre to pop off the rim and unfortunately unable to complete the run. And of course, quite a treacherous area of the track, and as he goes past you, hit him with a wall of sound. So the judges' scores come in, Dave, and it looks as though we're going to make this official. Who's going through to the grade 8? Will it be Alan O'Loughlin, Kieran, Kevin and Dan, all in favour?
It will be Alan O'Loughlin going through to the top 8. Alan O'Loughlin, the pro rookie, gets into that top 8.
So there you have it. We head back to the judges just to get a run through of that one. The tyre coming off the rim, unfortunately ending that run.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it kind of comes back down to run 2 there, really. Like, Chris drops a wheel at clip 3 there, pulling the tyre off of the rim. He didn't have quite as much proximity up until that point either way as what Alan did, so he was bleeding points fairly rapidly. But once the tyre came off of the rim, I'm afraid we couldn't let him transition back out onto the wall there, really, with the tyre off of the rim. There'd be too much of a risk of him hitting the wall, so I'm afraid the run had to be stopped. So it's a 10-0 to Alan then in the second run.
So there you have it. Very unfortunate for Chris Burnett. The run ends with a tyre off the rim, and as you say, just not safe enough to allow him to transition back. We move it on though to our next battle. International guest Mitch Lerner, travelling all the way from Australia to be here. He is going up against a man from County Cork, Charlie Geary, in what you have to say an underpowered, underdog BMW E36 estate, going up against one of the biggest names in the motorsport industry right now, Mitch Lerner, in that monstrous PS13 V8 under the bonnet, the Thunder from down under. He's coming here to take home the streak. What can he do against Charlie Geary, who's no stranger to taking down big names? He is the giant killer. We are almost ready to let them loose off the line. Over 1,000 brake horsepower, ready to hit this Mondello circuit. Can Lerner take it into the grade 8 where he will face Alan O'Loughlin? Can Lerner take it to the final? We are about to find out as Charlie Geary and Mitch Lerner just await the final word from our marshals. Lerner just reversing back, just taking a moment just to maybe reheat those tyres and just get them scrubbed in a little bit better.
Yeah, Mitch Lerner against Charlie Geary, but again, we've said it in the past that he never count Charlie Geary out. I think he's beaten 2 Formula Drift drivers that have visited in Irish Drift Championship. So this guy has beaten the best from Japan and even from Peru. And look at this, Mitch Lerner with a big flick entry. Charlie Geary's lost a lot of ground already.
Yeah.
The speed of Lerner is sensational.
He's got a lot of catching up to do here, as Lerner just looks so quick through the circuit and nailing that qualifying line. Charlie just doesn't have an answer, cutting the circuit and getting all out of position. Just trying to keep with, big wall tap from the Thunder from down under. As Mitch Lerner just shreds those Destino tyres, sends up the smoke signal and clouds out Mondello Park. Looking very confident and very comfortable, Dave, on that Mondello layout.
Yeah, well, he has more grip and he has more speed, but Charlie Geary almost was just overwhelmed there. The speed of Lerner's entry, and of course Charlie Geary will be judging it off his own runs all weekend, but Lerner came in there absolutely ridiculously fast and used angle and the grip and power in that car to slow him down. Not the approach all the drivers are going for. They're kind of coming in sometimes a little bit more tentative and just firing through that corner. He came in there with no disregard, and even look, watch this wall tap from Lerner as he transitions back. Just tags the bumper, no problem whatsoever. He grows into these battles. That's what I've noticed about Mitch Lerner. From the start of practice onwards, he sort of gets better and better the more it matters, and I think that starts to switch him on.
I think he rises to the occasion, and he lives for the challenge, and these high pressure scenarios, and you start to see the best of him as the runs go on. Charlie Geary, though, Dave, you have to feel needs to pull out something really special here, or hope for a big error from Mitch Lerner in order to have any chance of going through to the grade 8.
Absolutely, and Charlie Geary's going to be in lead position, so Lerner's in the chase. Now remember, we've had prop shaft failure, engine failure, and everything hamper Mitch Lerner in the past. He's got to make sure that car stays going. He's got the advantage, but anything can happen. Look how confident he is in behind the steering wheel there. Charlie Geary, it's all about him now, just doing that clean lead run and hoping that Lerner makes an error behind him. Anything can happen here. Just when you think it's over, it's never over. As Charlie Geary leads in Mitch Lerner. Look at Lerner though.
Yeah, Lerner not giving him any space down the straight, getting straight into this one, door to doors. Oh, and a big hop there from Charlie Geary. Keeps in it though, drops a couple of wheels, and into the beach goes Charlie Geary, 4 wheels off, and eventually just gives up. And unfortunately for Charlie Geary, that is all she wrote. As what a wall run from Mitch Lerner. Ladies and gentlemen, hit him with a wall of sound.
Yeah, Mitch Lerner looking comfortable out there. That wall run was intense. He actually ran the entire length of the wall, and the clip is only just at the end, so he's starting to feel the confidence build now. Charlie Geary finds himself in the gravel trap right now, and you can just see he tried his very, very best, Eddie, to stay on the track, but it just sort of lost the front wheel steer. And we make this official from our judges. You can see this, look, Charlie Geary just pushing wide.
Yeah, it goes one,
he's actually 4 wheels off really there, because that concrete is not the circuit. That black tarmac is the circuit, so judges will be watching out for that. Just here, watch, just dips in on the front wheel and drags him straight forward in, and Mitch Lerner is just sort of holding back, saying, well, that's another one out of the way. Guys, round of applause for Charlie Geary. He's had a rough day, and of course, any day that's sunny and you end up in the beach ain't so bad.
Look at that wall run from Lerner. The entirety of the wall he ran, and
but his confidence
that is
building
a man
now.
that looks very confident. And as I said, Dave, he is so confident in his own ability. We got to make it official. Kieran, Kevin, and Dan, who's going through to the grade 8, all unanimous in favor of the Thunder from down under. Give it up for Mitch Lerner.
So we're going to go down to Charlie Geary. He's down on Sandymount Beach there, having a nice time.
Sandymount Beach, yeah. Charlie, very, very tough battle. Obviously, the speed Mitch Lerner's carrying through the course is unbelievable. Put you under pressure. How do you think the battle went? Obviously, didn't go your way, but...
yeah, as you say, pressure. Jesus. In on the first run, couldn't catch him for love nor money. Tried my best, but sure, we had a great chat beforehand and great banter. Sure, I knew the crack. And as you can see, the speed, I came in the second run just to try and get away from him, And here he comes to give me an old hug.
Well, there you have it. We've got hugs down here in Sandymount Beach. Congratulations to Mitch Lerner going through, and thanks very much to Charlie Geary.
Yep.
Yeah, guys, give it up for both drivers, Charlie Geary and Mitch Lerner. Lots of banter on and off the track between these two, and
absolutely.
Look, the Thunder from down under marches on, Dave.
Yeah, marches on into the top 8, where he will go up against the winner of our next battle, Paul McCarthy and Alan Hines. It's getting very tense out here. Remember, just for your information, in the top 8, we've got Duane McKeever against Tomas Kiley. We've got Joe Doyle against Alan OLaughlin, and we've Mitch Lerner up against the winner of the next battle. I am getting hyped up here, because there's some huge drivers in this grid.
Yeah, look, I mean, coming into this round, everyone said it was going to be Lerner versus McKeever in the final, but McKeever has to go through Tomas Kiley, who is back here.
Yeah, I was just about to say, McKeever has probably got the wrong rub of the green here.
That is look, you qualify in first position, you go straight into the top 16, you beat Kevin Quinn, and in the Grade 8, you're rewarded with Tomas Kiley.
Yeah.
How unfair is that?
That will be a tough battle. I think that one could even decide maybe even that half of the bracket. But look, from where we are now, it's so unpredictable out there, Eddie. I'd hate to make a call. He finishes up his weekend in the top 16. Give it up for Charlie Geary. Tried his best to take down the Australian driver. And remember, Eddie, no Australian driver. We've had 3 of those actually to be the championship. But we had never had an international driver win any round of Irish drifting in 15 years. Has never won a round. So that's still in play here with Mitch Lerner. Next up, Paul McCarthy, Alan Hines. This is the one I've been looking forward to since the gridding sheet came out. Paul McCarthy, phenomenal form at round 1. Alan Hines in phenomenal form at round 1. I think this is going to be door to door. This is going to be crazy.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Dave. I think this is going to be a very interesting battle here between two guys. One guy looking to make a name for himself in the Pro Championship, another driver in Paul McCarthy looking to, gain a 4th victory in the Irish Drift Championship.
Yeah, and
as you stated earlier, one of the most successful drivers in the Irish drifting history.
Yes, in history, Paul McCarthy, and a man that says he's never spent that much money on drifting, is one of the most successful drivers in drifting. That is a testament to his talent, not how much he spent. He is an enforcer when it comes out into these top 16 battles. But he leads in Alan Hines, who's in a borrowed car from Neil Dunn, who is our pit reporter. It's so confusing right now, but someone's going to stand on top step in a couple of hours' time. Will it be McCarthy or will it be Alan Hines as they come through the gears? Look at Hines, he's going for this.
Yeah, knows he has to give it everything. Oh, look at the angle, Dave, from both drivers, the speed they carry. But a bit of a straight in there from Alan Hines as he takes it very wide and a big hop off that divot in the ground and causing him to straighten quite a bit. But the line here from Paul McCarthy is perfect. But Alan Hines now starts to bring the fight as he gets into the action here, door to door around the teardrop. Just getting caught a little bit before he gets back on the power.
Oh, big dive.
McCarthy takes it to the wall. Nicely through the final sections, Dave.
Look at Alan Hines, though, starting to put the pressure on as they finish this run. Hunger on track right now, Ed, as they want to go for that huge win today. And Paul McCarthy, another driver I've been watching today, growing into the competition, getting better and better every single run, as he always does.
Yeah, and a very difficult man to beat in battle action as well, and it is no surprise that he has managed to win here in the past. Alan Hines, look, as you say, 5th time driving this car, 5th lap that he's done in it, and he is just battling a very quick Paul McCarthy through the circuit.
But look at McCarthy's line, though. He's fast through the slow sections, and that's going to pay dividends for him as time moves on. He's not using huge amounts of smoke. That's because Paul McCarthy says he's not an impact driver. He wants to be the fastest man on the track, and that's dangerous if you come up against him because he's very quick, and of course he's not letting up at any point to give you the chance to dive in. And you can see Alan Hines cutting the course at times to try and get proximity because McCarthy was just that fast. Let's see what happens when we switch him around. It will now be Alan Hines to lead in Paul McCarthy. Can Paul McCarthy stick it on the door?
They slam through the gears and come down the straight bumper to bumper before they transition. McCarthy right there with Alan Hines, who's nailing the qualifying line now. Can he get on big angle and start to pull a gap on Paul McCarthy? He certainly needs to. But McCarthy just right there with him. They switch it back and throw it down into the teardrop, nailing that wall zone. Look at this from McCarthy. They bring in that proximity, bring in the aggression. Alan Hines getting up close and personal with the walls. Throws it wide as they come around Link ECU for the final time, nice and tight. McCarthy, though, door to door down the inside. And
door to door the whole way around, Eddie. Great proximity from Paul McCarthy. Paul McCarthy looking like he's trying to get back into that championship hunt as well this year. Finished up very high every year. Had a bit of a mishap at round 2 where the wheel came off the car on initiation, but right now looking very strong. Guys, give a round of applause to Paul McCarthy and Alan Hines. Great battle for both of these guys. Hit them with some noise from the grandstand as they exit the cars. It means the world to them.
So,
Okay.
Dave, the result coming true. Will
Slide
it be
him.
Alan Hines? Will it be Paul McCarthy? Slide him left for Hines, right for McCarthy. Kieran, Kevin and Dan, all in favour of your winner, going through to the Grade 8, Paul McCarthy!
Paul McCarthy gets the win and goes through. Quickly back to the judges. That was a great battle. We're starting to see it heat up here at round 3.
Great battle, great driving by both drivers, but for me, just Paul McCarthy just being the more consistent driver of the 2 runs. When Paul was leading, no mistakes in his lead run, and then unfortunately for Alan, he had a fairly major understeer at clipping point 2. and then because of that understeer, he completely missed clip 4. Did have proximity for the rest of the lap, but it was a little bit scrappy. Then you flip him around, and Paul's chase was just inch perfect. Really, really aggressive. But then again, Alan's lead was very good as well, but it was just the sheer aggression that gave Paul the advantage overall, and Paul takes the win.
So Paul McCarthy goes through to the Grade 8, where he will face Mitch, Lerner and Dave.
Wow.
I think we have on our hands one of the most monumental Grade 8s we have ever seen in the Irish Drift
Yeah,
Championship.
and one more guy is going to go for it. It's Mark McBurney and Dean Martin, two guys who may not be the biggest names in the championship, but after today, all you need is a couple of lucky wins and a couple of good drives, and you could be the next big star. Both of these guys will be aiming for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I spoke to them just before the battle, and they are relishing the opportunity, of coming up against each other. It is a really good chance for one of these drivers to progress through similar levels, drifting for similar amounts of time.
Yeah,
So a chance for a Grade 8 against somebody who you feel like you have a genuine opportunity against.
Absolutely. Mark McBurney leading in. Dean Martin, big flick for McBurney. Dean Martin leaves it late to initiate, and he's got to play catch up now as McBurney has been absolutely on fire today.
Yeah, McBurney's able to, he's the master of, big angle and then maintaining that speed throughout the circuit. And Dean Martin just not able to match that right now. Needs a big dive to try and gain a little bit of proximity. But how do you follow a line like that from Mark McBurney?
He's so fast.
Yeah, he is quickly becoming one of the hottest topics in this sport right now. And look at the gap, Dave. Dean Martin can do nothing.
Well, you raised the question there, Eddie. You said, how does he keep such angle and such speed? There's only one word for that: bravery. That's what Mark McBurney brings. He threw that car in there, and he's not sure what's going to happen next. And every run, he's thrown it in on big angle, foot to the floor. And you know what? That is not a slow car. Even though he hasn't the horsepower of a lot of the other guys out there, it goes to show the gap he can pull by just being so fluid through the line.
Yeah, so if you're Dean Martin, you're heading back up to the start line wondering what it is you have to do. What can you change for the second half of this run? You're going to be in the lead position against a car that clearly has the legs. And, to try and force an error from such a competent driver. But you know what? A very good learning experience here for Dean Martin as in his rookie pro season going up against Mark McBurney, who just a wealth of talent.
He is, and we've said it, we've been waiting for this moment for Mark McBurney to show the talent he showed in the amateurs, in the pros, and I think today might be the day that Mark McBurney is stepping up to the plate. 2 monstrous qualifying runs, now an advantage, but do not count out the scrapper that is Dean Martin, because every time he comes out there, he's not making major mistakes. McBurney might go too aggressive here, the occasion might get to him, he might push that a little bit too hard. There's still a little bit of inexperience in both of these guys at this level. Remember, if whoever wins this battle goes through, that will be the highest either driver has ever made it in the competition, and that's when it starts to either build your confidence and you start to believe, or you start to get nervous. So it's going to start affecting these guys as we go along. Remember, you come here and watch events all the time and you watch drifting and you go, yeah. But when it starts getting to the top 4, there's a 1 in 4 chance of taking home 20 G's. You're going to be sitting there going, this is a little bit different than normal.
Yeah, things really heating up, and Dean Martin ready on the line. Mark McBurney, possibly a little bit of mind games, just slowing. Surely not an issue with the car. No, he's been pulled into position. That is fine. We are almost ready to go for the second half of this battle. Can Mark McBurney in the Drift Shed NI 180SX take it through, or will it be Dean Martin in that PTG E36?
It's going to be interesting, Eddie, and as they come off the line, as I said, Dean Martin with the only car brighter than the sun here today. Hey, you definitely won't miss him coming in over the hill, and maybe that he'll blind Bernie as they come into the first corner.
Maybe that's the strategy. Blind your competitors
look
as
at
you
this.
come down the straight. Here we go. They appear over the brow of the hill. McBurney slots in right behind Dean Martin as Martin executed that perfect lead line, Dave.
Big dive from McBurney. He's right there now. McBurney is right where he needs to be, door to door with Dean Martin coming through that smoke screen.
Yeah, but Dean Martin nailing that qualifying line, takes it down to the wall nicely. Look at this though, the proximity from Mark McBurney. And Dean Martin doing everything he can to try and pull a gap. He's put in a flawless lead run, but unfortunately just can't gain that advantage that he needs over Mark McBurney, who has looked almost unstoppable right now.
And you talk about the future of the sport, and these guys definitely will figure it out in the years to come. And you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing how either of these drivers progress through the rest of the season with the confidence built here today. Guys, if you're in attendance, if you're in the grandstand, make some noise for Dean Martin and Mark McBurney. Interesting stuff, but results are in. Slide him left for Dean Martin, right for Mark McBurney. Who's going through? It's Mark McBurney. Mark McBurney gets the win and goes through. We quickly go back to you guys in the judging panel. Talk us through that one. 2 scrappers, and that definitely was a fight, but Mark McBurney coming out on top.
Yeah, the first one there, Mark had a really good lead run on the clipping points the whole way. Dean, again, had a very good chase insofar as line-wise, but he just did not have the pace and gradually fell back over the run. So by the end of the run, I said Mark had a really strong advantage. On the second run there, again, Dean had a really good lead line, but Mark was there all the time and did a really good job chasing a much slower car. So over both runs, Mark McBurney takes it.
So Mark McBurney gets the win, moves on. He makes up the second last position in our Grade 8. It will be McBurney to go up against the winner of the next big fight. Mike Fitzgerald, Brian Egan, both guys saying it's not just about 20 grand. We've been in this sport a long time and through a lot of hardship, and we've never won a round of the championship ever. Both of them go head to head. One in an RX-7, one in an R32, but both with the same power plant and horsepower and on the same tires. So this is going to be an interesting one. Both guys looking for a turn of fortune. Whoever goes through from this will be the highest finish they've been at this year so far. Mikey Fitz in the RX-7 to lead in. Brian Egan in the Delta with R32. Here we go. As they come through the gears, this could go either way.
Yeah, both drivers side by side almost simultaneously as they come through that first section, Dave. Mikey Fitz taking it nice and wide, a little bit of a hop off that divot. Brian Egan now a little bit unsettled, gets it back in, back on power, and tries to stick it to the door of Mikey Fitz in that Drift Games RX-7. What can the Deltwood driver do as they throw it onto the wall into this tight and technical section? Brian Egan right there with the Group D driver, Mike Fitzgerald. This is tooth and nail, hair-raising stuff from both drivers as they take it around the final section. And across the line, Brian Egan, Mike Fitzgerald, Mondello Park, make some noise for both of them.
Very, very close run there, Eddie. I think these guys, in the current form they're in, with the machinery they're in, and with the experience they have, are almost level in terms of ranking in the championship. And you can see it there. Mikey just dropping a little bit off the track. May have affected Brian's line of the chase, but again, Brian gets back in, and from there, though, Mike Fitz puts on a masterclass. Great line driving from him throughout the course. And look at this, both drivers taking it to the wall. And Brian Egan, watch this transition as they come out of the teardrop. Very brave here, stays in the throttle as Mike Fitzgerald transitions. And you know what, that little bit of waiting that he had to do there cost him a little bit of time, but I think that's a down the middle run for me. I mean, I'm not a judge, but at the same time, you can see both guys not making big errors.
No, and like you say, look, I think Brian Egan better through clip 1, 2 and 3, and then from that point on, Mikey gets back on the line and starts to execute a perfect lead run from that point. Brian Egan showing a lot of bravery, staying in the fight, and maybe not the proximity he would have wanted, but you know what, sometimes Brian Egan getting a little bit caught out with being over aggressive and find himself in some situations where he's forced into making an error.
But the question now is on Mike Fitz. Do you similar? Do you go a little bit, 80, 90%? Or do you risk it all here 100% and try and take the battle? Mike Fitz looks gunning for it though as Brian Egan knocks a cone. Mike Fitz now chasing him down, and look at this big flick entry from Brian Egan. Mike Fitz right there on initiation.
Yeah, Mike Fitz initiating a little bit later than Brian Egan. Brian Egan missing that third clipping zone though, as he looks to take it wide. Mike cuts the circuit a little bit just to get that proximity, gets on the door of the R32 of Brian Egan, and again just shallows up and not taking the perfect line. But Brian, look at this, taking it right out to the wall. What can Mike do in the transition? Can he make the dive? He certainly can, as these two heavyweights go toe to toe into the final bend and across the line. Brian Egan, Mike Fitzgerald.
That's a close one.
That is a real close one.
That is a close one. Two guys at the top of their game right now. They are aiming for that top 8 spot. Then there will just be 8 drivers remaining in the competition. And what an incredible display from both. No real massive errors from either driver. Both have got to grips with the course, and the judges are going to have a difficult time separating them here as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it'll be Brian Egan. I'm not sure if it'll be Mike Fitzgerald. Could it go to the first one more time of our main stage Sunday?
Yeah, well, it's the first time we've seen, not massive separation or a mechanical failure really decide the battle. It's been a good, hard-fought battle. Guys, round of applause for Brian Egan and Mike Fitz. Good battle for both of these guys. I think they'll both know they're not quite sure of which way it's going to go. Both put in solid runs each. It'll be interesting to see which way the judges go. They're analysing this one quite carefully. And, this is going to come down to real technicality. It's not just going to be as obvious. They've had an easy day today because everyone's broken down, but now they actually have to put some work into these decisions.
Yeah, and look, this is where it becomes a little bit tedious. You start splitting the mistakes that these drivers have made as opposed to rewarding where they were good. And a number of mistakes, go back over the 2 runs. Each driver missing a couple of clipping zones, deviating off the line just that little bit, but then a lot of very good driving and very accurate driving from both of them as well.
And I think we're getting a request for another replay here. Getting a request for another replay of the battle, and now both drivers, you can watch what you just did. Here's what they could have won, right? It's like a game show. Here's what you did. So as you can see, Brian Egan initiating in the middle of the track. Mike Fitz comes in very hot behind him.
I think what they were doing there, Dave, is just looking at Brian Egan obviously hitting that cone off the start line. They were just trying to determine, was there a significant advantage to Brian Egan be due to him clipping that cone. So they will make that decision amongst themselves.
Yeah, you know what? Both lead runs seem to be the standout in both of those runs. Both lead runs were exceptional. Chase runs had moments of brilliance, but not massive amounts of proximity. So I think that's going to be some of the deciding factors the judges are looking at there. But I'll tell you what, either or driver goes through here, they both put on a phenomenal effort and they both put in great runs. So at least you're not going home with a big mistake. So let's see which way it's going to go. Slide him left for Brian Egan, slide him right for Mikey Fitz. Which way is it going to go? And Mike Fitz gets the win and goes through to the top 8. Tough decision there, guys. Talk us through it.
Yeah, Dave, it basically comes back down there more or less to the second run. On entry in, Brian completely drops clip 3. Clip 3 is a pivotal part of the track. We put an awful lot of emphasis on it in the briefings, and pretty much like first run came down to a 5-5, and even in the second run, even though Brian dropped clip 3, Mike had better proximity throughout his chase run, so Mike takes it there on the second run.
So a narrow victory for Mike Fitzgerald, and that is the end of our top 16, and here we go. If you're an Irish Drift fan and this has just popped up on the screen, you know what this means. Duane McKeever versus Tomas Kiley in the top 8 with a shot at the final 4 up for grabs. I don't even need to introduce this one. If you're an Irish fan, you know what this means. These are heavyweights. Both have won rounds of the Irish Drift Championship, and both have won them here in Mondello.
Do you know what? I don't know about the drivers, Dave. I don't know about you, but I am shaking at the thoughts of this one. This is going to be insane. 2 drivers at the top of their game. Will it be Duane? Will it be Tomas? They leave the line. McKeever to lead them in. Kiley right there with him. Side by side as they transition, but McKeever starts to pull a big lead here over Kiley. What can Kiley do as he starts to lose ground? He looked so quick up to this point, Dave, but doesn't have the pace to match McKeever.
Looked like he made an error on the run to the first corner, went on too much angle. And look at this, Kiley diving desperately to get back into the fight with McKeever. But McKeever is so fast through this course. No let up off the throttle from McKeever. There's no driver on that grid using as much throttle as he is. And Kiley gets back into the fight towards the end. But the speed McKeever carried through that first corner was almost impossible. He came in there with he barely even handbraked into the first corner, just absolutely nailed it in there. And you can see this on the first corner. Light down with the handbrake, then full throttle through it. Kiley just losing a little bit of ground there. It goes on way too much angle at clip 3, and that was what cost him the proximity on that run, Eddie. Expected Kiley to be right there with him, but again, remember, he hasn't been in competition since late September last year, and he's going up against a man that's undefeated this year, so that's a big task.
Yeah, certainly, and we just heard from the judges how important that third clipping zone is in that last battle, so a lot of weight being put on that first section, which means that Tomas Kiley could be at a significant disadvantage going into the second half of this run.
Clip 3 is the most difficult part of the track. It's the risk-reward element. You go too wide there, you drop a wheel, and we saw it with Chris Burnett. You know, you can DB a tire, you can have a lot of things go wrong. But if you stay on the inside of the course, it's very difficult to chase you. It's almost an unchaseable run because you're not really giving the chase car anything to get to. So I think Kiley will lose major marks for that. But then it is the second run. McKeever being asked the question again. He said he doesn't want to think about that 20 grand. He doesn't want to think about winning the event. He's just taking it battle by battle. But he knows now the quality of Tomas. He knows the speed of Tomas. He cannot get caught here either.
No, certainly not. He has to play it run by run. Here we go. They come in nice and fast through that first section, and look at this from McKeever, an expert in close chase driving, but loses a little bit of ground now. Can he regain it as he looks to take it to the door of Tomas Kiley? But can Kiley get himself back in this one? Is the pressure of the situation too big for Duane McKeever, or can he keep his composure, take him out of the teardrop? Big angle onto the wall from Tomas Kiley as they go side by side around the final turn, and Kiley is back in this one, but so is McKeever, bringing the proximity across the line.
That was impressive. McKeever, though, was caught a little bit for pace by Tomas Kiley there, and he got himself back into the fight, Tomas. Look at this initiation. They're very close. McKeever just backs out a little bit. And as they come through this section, he drops the wheel. And Kylie not right out to the edge of the course. And look here, you can see the speed in Kylie's car, giving him that advantage as he pulls away from the corner. McKeever makes a massive dive here to try and get back into the fight. But Kylie, again, right to that outside line, just what the judges want to see. McKeever within 3 meters, trying to get back into the fight, and does by the end of the run. Another interesting battle between two guys who have shaped the I would say, the landscape of Irish drifting for the last 3 or 4 years. So, guys, once again, give it up for Tomas, Kylie, and Duane McKeever. 2 fan favorites having a conversation there, and neither of them too sure which way it's going to go. Looks like we do have a result, though, and it's someone going through to the final 4. Who's it going to be, Kylie or McKeever? It's Duane McKeever! Duane McKeever gets the win and goes through to the final 4. Quickly back to the judges, talk us through that one.
Wow, what a battle. Duane there, great lead run.
Keen.
100%. And Kylie in the chase. He gets caught coming out towards slip 3. He over-rotates and he actually leaves slip 3 before he even gets to it, which also puts him off clip 4. So that was a really big error. He lost a lot of proximity on that first run because of it. And he did gain it back near the end, but he did it a lot by shallowing up his line and being shy on some of the clips. So after the first run, Duane has a really strong advantage. On the second run there, you saw Tomas had a good lead line, but Duane had proximity all the way with no major errors. So over both runs, Duane for us.
So Duane McKeever goes through and to the final 4, exactly maybe what most people expected. But there's a lot of competition left in this one. And next up, Joe Doyle goes up against Alan O'Loughlin, 2 guys who would be over the moon at getting into the top 4 and having 2 shots at that podium and a big shot at that €20,000.
Yeah, absolutely. What it would mean for both of these drivers. And Alan O'Loughlin has looked very impressive. Joe Doyle, though, we've seen the pace that he carries through this circuit. And I think the real question here on this one, Dave, will Alan O'Loughlin be able to match that speed through the course? Will he be able to keep on the door of that massive R33 Skyline? Joe Doyle.
Alan O'Loughlin's car, no slouch, Eddie, as he's going to try and get as much of a run as he can at Joe Doyle here as they come through the gears. Joe Doyle has looked pretty unstoppable. It's time for Alan O'Loughlin to show what he's got. And a little late initiation from Alan O'Loughlin, but now he's going very fast, but Joe Doyle pushing very well.
Oh, look where O'Loughlin ended up. Drops a wheel now. Can he stay in it? He certainly can, but can he get back in the door? Has to shallow up massively, Dave, to stay in this one. And Joe Doyle just keeping that consistent line. Now Alan O'Loughlin makes a move, but makes, a big error.
Looked like a gear change error.
Yeah, big problem for Alan O'Loughlin.
Was on the wrong line, got himself caught in the middle of the roundabout, and I can tell you from anybody who's driven a road in Ireland, you don't want to end up in the middle of the roundabout. That's not a good place to be. We were going to put a little water feature in the middle of the roundabout, but we decided against it.
With some plants around
With some plants and like Mondello.
Kildare County Council.
Yeah. But Alan O'Loughlin would have ruined that very quickly there. But look at this, Alan O'Loughlin, very aggressive. You got to give him credit. Incredibly aggressive on the entry.
Yeah, look, I think he knew he had to go aggressive. He had to try and keep that speed all the way through the circuit just to stay with Joe Doyle, and unfortunately led to that error at the 3rd clipping zone.
Yeah, and you see Alan O'Loughlin just sort of shuts it down. That may be a gear change issue, 3rd to 2nd. Not sure what happened there, but it's a big error and it's going to cost him dearly on the first half of this battle. So we await them to go back up to the start line, and I'm just having a look. So we've McKeever now into the final 4, and we've got a lot of heavyweights still left in the game.
You know, if you're Duane McKeever, you have to win one more battle just to get into the final. I think if you're Duane McKeever and you get yourself to the final, you say, okay, well, I did as much as I could do. The final is the final, whatever happens, happens. But at least I got that far and gave myself the opportunity.
I don't know. If I was Duane McKeever and I got to the final and didn't win 20 grand, I'd be worried. I'd be very annoyed, because if you lose that final, you're losing €19,000 in 40 seconds on a racetrack. That is ridiculous pressure.
Yeah, no, I think the attitude they have to take is it's money that they never had.
Absolutely. Or, as I said, for all of us, money we never had. All these guys are always about trying to put their money and lifestyle on the line every run over that hill. And O'Loughlin now pulling a big gap, Eddie.
Yeah, big flick entry, and O'Loughlin the one looking quick. Joe Doyle missing that 3rd clipping zone, trying to gain the ground as he tries to chase down Alan O'Loughlin and get back in the fight here, because he's been caught napping. Joe Doyle needs to pull up some big proximity through the final sections of this circuit, because right now Alan O'Loughlin looks to be the aggressor and looks to be forcing the issue from the lead position. I
imagine
get lost in the cloud of smokes.
I think Joe Doyle played it safe there, Eddie. I think he knew there was a big mistake from O'Loughlin on the first run. As long as he wasn't on an inactive chase, he was okay there. And I think he almost left too much of a gap, but he got a little bit frightened and had to catch it back up again. But clever driving, I don't think it's going to be a decision he can make from this point on the competition if he stays in it. O'Loughlin, though, proving his worth there and putting in a very, very impressive lead run to get himself back in the fight and have the judges have something to think about. And it looks like we have a replay being requested from the judges, which means all that we think is happening might not be happening at all, because they want to have a little look at this one.
So no issues with the start line, no issues with cones being hit or anything like that. I'm wondering, are they just looking at that weight transfer entry? Did that entry put Joe Doyle off and stop him from being as aggressive as he would have liked through the first sections of the corner? So it looks as though, Dave, that we have a decision coming through to our screens.
Yeah, you see Alan, guys, round of applause for Alan O'Loughlin and Joe Doyle out there on the circuit. Give them plenty of love from the grandstand. Here's the decision for the top 4 to be one of 4 men going for 20,000. Will it be O'Loughlin? Will it be Doyle? It's Joe Doyle getting the win and going through to the final 4. I think he almost knew that himself, and I presume our judges saying that big mistake from Alan O'Loughlin on the first run was just too much to come back from. And go round the roundabout, not through it. That's the advice they have. As both drivers leave the circuit, good showing though from Alan O'Loughlin. He'll be one to watch for the future for sure. Very impressive stuff from him. I'm looking forward to seeing his progression. And here is another massive battle. Okay, 15 years of history in Ireland. International has never won an event, but he's going to have to go through a man who is one of 4 people on the grid that have ever won an event. Mitch Lerner, the Thunder from Down Under, goes up against Paul McCarthy. 2 men in absolute incredible form. It is Australia versus Ireland. It is V8 versus M3 Turbo. And even though Paul McCarthy goes in with lower horsepower, never count him out. He's one of the fastest drivers on that grid. Both of these guys know how good the other guy is. This will be a huge contest.
Paul McCarthy is a big game player, and he will not be phased one bit by this. He knows what Mitch is here to do. He knows how well Mitch is driving, but he knows that he has won rounds of the Irish Drift Championship, and he has taken down some of the biggest names in the business. What can he do here? Look at this, at the aggression, side by side, but does McCarthy lose a little bit of ground with that aggression, Dave? I think he does.
He's going to have to make a big dive here ready to get back into the contest, and he does. Now he's back with the Australian, door to door, and McCarthy knows he's got to be aggressive here. He's going to throw it all on the line as they fire down along that wall. He's back in the game again, and Lerner, though, is so fast through that section. McCarthy desperately trying to make a dive, and he does through the last section, through the smoke. He can barely see where he's going, Paul McCarthy, but he stays with the Australian across the line, and a good showing from Paul McCarthy. We used to call him the giant killer. Well, now he is one of the giants of the sport, and he's been tested there.
Absolutely, Dave. And you know what? I think getting a little bit caught with the aggression that he showed on the on that entry or down the straight, and just after that, though, just starts to reel in Lerner and stays there with him, gains that proximity, maintains it then crucially throughout the circuit. Look at the wall run from both drivers as they just show sheer bravery. And a perfect transition back, just bumper to bumper, almost making contact.
How does Paul McCarthy see where he's going there? I mean, the car is completely clouded with smoke, and he's making decisions based on muscle memory. With a very expensive car, he's just going, I think I should go left now, or maybe right, maybe he's somewhere there in the cloud, I don't know. And that's the risk you got to take, especially towards the end of the track. I mean, people go out on the roads here, and they turn on their fog lights, and they start slowing down to 25 kilometers an hour when there's a bit of mist or fog on the road. Paul McCarthy is doing about 70 miles an hour through the fog, and he has no idea where the other car is, just basing it all on muscle memory. It is an insane sport for things like that, and even visibility is a very difficult thing. But now the question being asked of Mitch Lerner, good run from McCarthy. He's done enough on the first run to gain a small advantage, but if the Australian wants to go to the final, he's going to have to pull something incredible out of the bag here. The question being asked now, is Mitch Lerner good enough to be the first man out of 100 international drivers, out of 15 years of history? Is he good enough to go out there and beat one of the hottest drivers in the game and take himself through to the top 4? Well, we're about to see the answer right now, but Mitch Lerner, he has that confidence.
He certainly does, and he knows he's going to have to push it. He is going to need to be glued to Paul McCarthy the whole way around the circuit. The only thing that will take him through to that final 4 is a door-to-door battle to the death with Paul McCarthy. Paul McCarthy, as we've seen, Dave, so quick through that course in the lead position. Can he pull a gap? Can he pull away? Can he take himself into the final four and one step closer to €20,000.
There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of tension right now.
There's a lot of tension on the line.
As they come off the line, McCarthy goes through the gears and Lerner goes through the gears behind him. Lerner is not letting him away here as they dive into that first corner. Look at Mitch Lerner tagging the back bumper of McCarthy's car and makes a monstrous dive into Link ECU corner, and he's right there on the rear wheel of Paul McCarthy's E36. Lerner's taking a risk here.
Yeah, taking a big risk. Look at this though, the proximity as they throw it onto the wall. Lerner unfazed, no stranger to going door to door. And one man from Tipperary, one man from Perth in Western Australia. They meet in Mondello Park, and Lerner glued to that E36 the entirety of the run. Western Australia is awoken.
Wow, what a chase run from Mitch Lerner. Incredible stuff from the Australian, who is now making himself a real fan favourite here in Ireland, commuting 5 times a year from Western Australia to compete in Ireland. He has definitely come the longest of any person here in Mondello Park, bar his dad. And they have put a huge amount of work in. Guys, give it up for Paul McCarthy and Mitch Lerner. Judges looking for a replay on this one, and think about it this way. Just 4 weeks ago, Mitch Lerner's engine gives way in Dunleary. He flies back to Australia. They build an engine, they dismantle it, they bring it in their luggage to Ireland. They go up to the north of Ireland, they build it in 3 or 4 days, and that car is hooking up phenomenal on Zestino tires right now. And the replay is showing.
And Dave, they're requesting it again. I wonder if the judges spotted something here on the entry. I'm not sure what exactly it is that they're looking at, but they want to see the start line and the run in.
Yeah, judges taking, I mean, we watch it as it's an entertainment product. We watch it as having some fun, but the judges are watching it from a technical criteria and what they've told the drivers in driver briefing. Is there something here that we haven't spotted, Eddie? That could be the case. McCarthy definitely takes the jump off the chase run. He's almost ahead of Mitch Lerner as they come into the corner, but he does initiate after Mitch Lerner there from that point on. And from there on in, it looked like a clean run for me from both drivers.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what it is that they're looking at there.
Yeah,
because,
I'm not too sure.
It's nothing obvious anyway that I can see.
I'm just enjoying the occasion, Eddie. I'm not even too bothered about the technicality of it. I'm just seeing some incredible driving. That's what I'm here to watch. It's been a lot of fun all day, and it's tension now as it starts to whittle down to those last few drivers. And they all start to believe now. They all start to think, well, maybe I could do it. Maybe I could be the guy going home with €20,000.
Well, you know what, Dave? If you get yourself into a Final Four, you have a real shot at taking it home.
So they're having a look at the starting procedure on this. Again, we have no idea what's after happening, Eddie, but they're having a look at it to see exactly what's happened as they went from the start line up to the first corner. But let's see exactly which one. Looks like the result has been made. The decision has been made. It could go either way. Will it be Paul McCarthy or will it be Mitch Lerner going through to the Final Four? Who's going to take it home? It's Mitch Lerner getting the win. And going through to the Final Four, we will have an Australian and an international in the Final Four. Guys, give it up for Paul McCarthy. What a fight he put on today. So with another finalist found on the grid, we go to our judges to talk us through that decision. You guys having a little deliberation on that one?
Yeah, we'll just go over the battle first of all. You know, Mitch had a really good lead run. Paul didn't have proximity at the start, but he has a nice aggressive chase from, say, clip 5 on. He closes in there and he gets nice and aggressive. So he pulls, it's kind of even after the first one, even slight advantage to Paul. The second one in Mitch has a great chase. Paul has a good lead run and everything else, but a great chase from Mitch, bringing a 7-3. Now, what we were looking at there, the marshal from the start line rated us to say that it looked, he felt that in the first run, Mitch was slow coming up the straight. And of course, they're told that you have to accelerate. You have to keep pace heading up to the start line to the point where you initiate. You can't be slowing, because it could be deemed a tactic for a more powerful car to slow and then pull away, and the other guy gets dropped a bit behind. There was a little bit of separation when he entered. We watched the replay. It doesn't look like nose of Mitch's car dips to any point where he's lifting off. So look, we don't have any evidence to state that was it. So that was one reason why we were looking to see if there was something. We didn't see anything there, so we think all was fine.
So Mitch Lerner makes his way through to the Final Four. It will be McKeever versus Joe Doyle and Mitch Lerner against the winner of this battle. McBurney and Fitz One of these guys is going through to the top 4 to shoot it out for 20 grand, and it's going to be an intense battle. Both guys running similar horsepower. Both have been on fire today. Both are in their daydream state right now, not believing they're at this stage of the competition, but they got to go up against each other, and it'd be a shame to see either driver go home at this level. They've been driving exceptionally.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dave, at this stage, I'm getting a little bit worked up because, you know, one
Calm
spot
down,
left
Eddie.
in
We
the
got a
final
battle
four.
here.
This is crazy.
Here we go. Mitch Lerner's through, but will it be Mark McBurney or Mike Fitz to face him? McBurney comes through hot. Oh, a bit of understeer from Mike Fitz in the chase position. He's got to work here and get back on the door, and he does. Big dive from Mikey Fitz to get himself back into the fight, but McBurney is on a mission.
Yeah, Mikey's got to close them down here. He got the, big straighten from Mike Fitzgerald as they come into the teardrop. But McBurney having no issues, Dave. He is just looking like a man possessed. And could McBurney be the one to take home €20,000 at the end of the prize fight, as Mike Fitzgerald just struggles to find an answer for the Drift Shed NI driver.
Well, you know that a lot of people out there saying, you know, oh, you can't run an SR20 in your car, it's old news. But look at Mark McBurney's pace there as he came through the course, and that's pure bravery. Look at Mike Fitz just dropping the wheel. He doesn't make a big error, but he doesn't get anywhere near clipping his own 3. And I think the bigger error for Mike Fitzgerald is as he loses that bit of ground, he tries to catch back up to McBurney, but sort of straight lines to the wall. Watch this as he transitions, sort of straight lines there to the wall and makes a big error.
Yeah, quite a significant straighten there from Mike Fitzgerald, and you know, it didn't appear to be any major mistakes from Mark McBurney throughout the run, so you have to say advantage McBurney here.
Absolutely, and at this stage, McBurney hasn't put a foot wrong all day, and now Mike Fitzgerald is going to have to go out in the lead position and hope that McBurney makes a mistake. Now, we've seen it in the past. At round 1, we were saying how great Mark McBurney was, and next thing we came into a corner and he ended up in the barrier. So it can happen at any time that someone makes a mistake. McBurney has got to get past this level of competition that he couldn't get past at round 1. He's got to hold it together here. Yeah,
he's a very much on the limit style of driving, and the problem with that, Dave, is that limit can all of a sudden go completely against you. When it works beautifully, but it's you know, you're tinkering very close to the edge of control.
Absolutely, they come through the gears again. Mike Fitz goes through the chicane as fast as he can. McBurney's with him though. McBurney seems to have found an extra gear this weekend. Look at the entry from Mark McBurney.
McBurney all over Fitz as they come through that section. What can he do now as he dives down the inside as they come into? Oh, Fitz has an issue, goes off track, Dave.
McBurney gets the win. McBurney looks like he's going to take the win here and go through to the final 4, and a backwards entry just to show off to the fans. McBurney is confident out there, Fitz. Fitz in the gravel. Wow.
A round of applause from the judges, a round of applause from the grandstand. McBurney, Dave.
I called it prematurely, but it looked to me
any of these 4 drivers could take it home.
Yeah, it looked to me like Mike Fitzgerald had an issue there and went off the track. Didn't look to me like contact. I jumped in it early. Again, the judges will analyze that one. But Mike Fitzgerald, again, another driver in the gravel. And McBurney pulls off a backwards entry along the wall. I mean, let's be honest here. Guys, give it up for Mikey Fitz.
And he is deep into that sand trap.
Can we get a replay of after that happens, after this? Let's set them, make it official though. Left for Fitz, right for McBurney. They're going, who's going through to the final 4? Pretty obvious one. Going through is Mark McBurney. Going through to the final 4. And can we get a replay of not only Mikey Fitz going off track, but the absolute, he would have watched this, McBurney, and saw Mike Fitz go off the track and said, I'm just going to pull a backwards entry along the wall, which is essentially what he did. Incredible stuff, and incredible. It shows the confidence he has, Eddie. Look at this entry. He was all over Mike Fitz at this point. And what happens, Mike Fitz here, as they come through, he transitions, and and it looks like he's gone off the track there. Just one moment, we might get a word with Mike Fitz. Just watch this from Mark McBurney here, though. Look, as he comes to the wall, boom,
backwards McBurney
on the wall from Mark McBurney. We're down with Mike Fitz, and Neil's down there with Mikey Fitz, and another guy enjoying the beach today.
Thanks, Dave. We're live here from Sandy Mount Beach once again with Mike Fitz. Mike, an extremely tough battle there with Mark McBurney. Tell us what was happening there.
Yeah, Mark had a lot of pace coming in. Fantastic running with him. I knew I had to give it my all coming in on my lead run. Then I knew he was he had a really good lead run. So I just gave it my all, and unfortunately there, just as I was downshifting into 3rd, I just missed the gear, just completely. It didn't go in, and I hit the throttle. Nothing happened, and just straightened up on opposite lap. But we're at the beach, so it's okay, you know.
Well, we have the weather for it here anyway, Mike. Thanks very much, and best of luck for next round. We'll talk to you very soon.
Bit of the nailing and cane for Mikey Fitz taking it to the beach.
Yeah, and good old school reference there. You like that?
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, they're showing our age a little bit. So it is going to be a final 4 drivers remaining in this competition, and what a 4 we have, Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, look, Duane McKeever coming up against another friend, Joe Doyle. Mitch Lerner, who has looked unstoppable and has just taken down Paul McCarthy, is coming up against Mark McBurney. Now, Mark McBurney has looked invincible so far today. This one is by no means over. This is going to be interesting. Duane McKeever coming up against a very, very quick-looking Joe Doyle, who is also nailing that outer line. These 4 drivers have wowed us all day. They're the 4 drivers that have looked the most impressive. And you know what? I'm not sure which way this one's going to go. Call it at your peril, because now it gets serious. Now we're at the business end, and now that money starts to play on the mind of these drivers, because 2 battles, 2 wins, and you're going home with €20,000. 1 mistake, and you're going home
with a trophy, but not a very expensive trophy. So yeah, it's still a good thing to get to this stage of the competition, which is such a stacked grid.
A €20 trophy.
But all 4 drivers are thinking about it now. They're all thinking about it.
It's definitely in the mind now. Definitely. And if you lose now, from this point on, you feel like you've lost yourself an opportunity at €20,000.
Absolutely, guys. Give it up for Mike Fitzgerald. Battled hard all day, but didn't make it through to the final 4. But a solid points haul for him this weekend, getting himself back up the championship.
Yeah, certainly. You've got to look at the bigger picture as well, and only one person can take home the prize money, but championship points up for a grab. And let's not forget about how important they are for some of these drivers as well. The championship on the line as well. Duane McKeever obviously leading that championship. 2 wins from 2 in the championship so far. He would be looking to take 3 wins out of 3 here today and maintain that undefeated streak. Can Joe Doyle, though, be the man to take him down?
Oh, this is Joe Doyle sitting there going, I know who I'm up against. I know he's the favorite here, but I could just make a magic moment. I could just make a magic moment that will echo for years to come and beat the undefeated. And Joe Doyle has the pace, he has the car, he has the commitment. But right now he's going to have to find something even more. He's going to have to find that zone where he's not quite sure what's going to happen. He knows already he's in the chase position. He knows Duane is going to return the favor by being on his door. Joe Doyle's going to have to throw caution to the wind here. He's just going to have to say, forget about the car, forget about everything I've done before.
And forget about the occasion, I think, as well.
He's going to have to say, if I'm going to beat Duane McKeever, I'm going to have to do something special, and he cannot let him get away on the first corner. That is for a fact.
He has to be side by side all the way down the straight, tuck in. Everything has to go perfectly here, because if you give McKeever an inch, he's going to take a mile.
Yeah, absolutely. This is for a spot in the final. A chance to go for 1 battle for €20,000. And our marshals are just waiting to remove some of the debris from Mike Fitzgerald's car off the track. And it gives us another moment to take a breath, Eddie, and talk a little bit about our next event in Punchestown. We return to Punchestown after 6 years. And it is the Irish Motor Festival. Exotic cars, classic cars, modified cars, live entertainment, kids zones, and of course right in the middle, a brand new track and a custom grandstand for the Irish Drift Championship.
Yeah, and a very family-friendly event as well.
Absolutely.
That would be.
Bring the friends, bring the family. It's going to be another scorcher in August in Punchestown. We got a little glimpse of that right now before we get to the Duane McKeever and Joe Doyle battle.
On August 11th and 12th, the Irish Motor Festival touches down in Punchestown Racecourse, County Kildare. Celebrating all things motoring, the festival brings exotic cars, modified cars, and classic cars together under one roof, alongside the thrill of the Irish Drift Championship. Not only that, but there'll be plenty of trade and food stalls to make your way around, as well as drift car passenger rides, live entertainment, and lots more for the whole family to enjoy. Discounted early bird tickets and general admission tickets are on sale 9 a.m. Monday. Grandstand tickets are limited, so head on over to www.irishmotorfestival.com for all further event information.
The grandstand tickets, when they're gone, they are gone. A bit like in Dunleary, we sold that out in 2 days. This is going to be the same. Punchestown, Irish Drift Championship, walls everywhere, craziness. If you're an Irish Drift fan, you've been hoping this event would come back for a long time. Well, we're going back there. It may even be just a one-off in Punchestown. And of course, we'd like to thank all of our supporters here at the Irish Drift Championship. Without the many sponsors we have here in the championship, we would not be able to show you guys this around the world live. And of course, we wouldn't be able to put on the prize fight just as it is. We'd like to thank Link Engine Management, of course, our title sponsor, Mobil One Oil, the guys at Burke Lubricants, Brian James Trailers, Group D, JDM Distro, Zestino Tires UK, Samco Sports, Simpson Race Products, M-Tech Brakes, the world leader in performance brakes, VP Racing Fuels, running by a lot of the guys on the grid, mixgarage.com, and of course Monster Energy. So those guys have been helping us this year build up the profile of the championship, getting it out there. Hundreds of thousands of people watching what you're watching now live in attendance. We had over 1 million views last year on the Irish Drift Championship from over 41 countries. I didn't even know there was 41 countries out there, but there is apparently. So people in Luxembourg loving it, just loving it. So we are getting back to the start line. Our track is now, looks like it's been cleaned up. This is tension. They've been sitting there a long time thinking about this one. 20 grand on the line. They've been looking across at each other nervously for the last 10 minutes.
A nervous wait. And you know what? I wonder. We're about to find out McKeever or Doyle. Who's it going to be? Who's going through to that final? McKeever leaves the line. Doyle follows him in down the stretch. Slamming through the gears. McKeever pulls the gap, but Doyle is starting to close it in.
Yeah, Doyle looks like he's going to drop a wheel. Oh!
Joe Doyle drops a wheel off the track, kicks up some dust as McKeever does what McKeever does best.
Yeah, sits out in that lead position, and it's just the speed. No one can deal with this man when it comes to pace through that first corner. He's coming through there at about 15 miles an hour faster than any other driver. And that's pure bravery, that's pure talent, that's pure skill. That's why he's undefeated. Has Joe Doyle, not a bad chase run, but you watch anyone chase McKeever into that first corner, they're dropping wheels, they're going off the track because he's just carrying that much pace.
Yeah, and it's pace that they're not used to carrying through the corner, and that's when the problems start. Look, he washes wide. McKeever, though,
he's on just absolutely full throttle all the way from clip 1 all the way to clip 3, and then he has the confidence to slow that car down and not go into the gravel.
And
he's just looking so on form.
How little smoke McKeever creates as well from those tires. He just manages his tires perfectly, keeps that car. He's using every last bit of wheel speed that he has to shoot that car forward.
Yeah, grip is a massive thing, especially when you've got a slow section like the hairpin. You're not going to go out there pluming the smoke off that, because anytime you see lots of smoke in there, it's just sitting there. You're just sitting there, wheels spinning. Whereas McKeever's starting to play with the throttle there, knowing that's where he's getting the pace. That's what's giving him the advantage at this point. And I think he's definitely going to carry an advantage from the lead position in, but he's got to chase in Joe Doyle. And as we've seen countless times this weekend, you think it's going one way and it can just go. There's always a shock just around the corner. Take your eyes off it and you miss an amazing moment. That's the way it works. You guys in Mondello having a good time? Yeah, maybe. We've all fallen asleep in the heat, right? Not used to it. Somebody get those guys like a hose or something. We can't do that. It's banned. We can't even have water. Yep.
Yeah,
Irish problems.
Your neighbours will tell on you if you.
Yeah, you get a fine. So here we go. It is
never mind that, you get locked up.
We go. Duane McKeever in the chase position. Joe Doyle in the lead position. Follows off the cars as they are now coming through the gears. Is there one last twist in the tail here as Joe Doyle leads in Duane McKeever for a shot at the final?
Joe Doyle needs to pull out something really special here, but look at this. McKeever just tucks in and says, you know what, I'm setting up shop here and I ain't going nowhere, Doyle. And despite his best efforts, Joe Doyle just can't shake McKeever. Bumper to bumper as they transition now. Coming down onto the wall. What can Doyle do? Takes it to the wall, but look at this. McKeever glued to the door of the Quinn co-tire R33 Skyline. And now McKeever just dropping back a little bit, but regains that proximity through the final third.
Look how close
and over
he is.
the line, side by side.
Look how close Duane McKeever is towards the end of that run. I mean, we call James Dean, who is here in attendance, the machine. I think we might have a robot also as well as the machine hit Duane McKeever, almost just scraping the side of Joe Doyle's car. As they exit the cars, we want everybody in the grandstand. Let's get pumped up for a shot in the final for Duane McKeever and Joe Doyle. It is for a spot in the final. A 50% chance of €20,000. Remember, they started with a 1 in 80 chance. Now it is a 50-50 chance for whoever wins this. That is what has happened. And we await the judges' scores to drop in of seeing who is going to go to the final. You can see both drivers out of the cars. Guys, once again, a big round of applause for Duane McKeever and Joe Doyle. But who is going to the final? Slide him left for Joe Doyle, slide him right for Duane McKeever. Who's going through? It's Duane McKeever! Duane McKeever goes into the final, and now Duane, you've got something to think about for the next couple of minutes. Have 50-50 chance at 20 grand. We go back to the judges. Talk us through it, guys.
Great driving there by both guys. Duane's lead run was pretty flawless, no real major mistakes. Unfortunately, Joe having a big wheel drop at 3 and it almost throwing the car back around, and therefore he misses clip 4 and really doesn't gain much proximity then for the rest of his run. So Duane having a fairly sizable advantage after that first run. And then you flip him around and you just see Duane go right onto Joe's door from the very start. Absolutely glued to him the whole way around. So great driving by Duane.
So there you have it. So it is going to be another semi-final up for grabs. Australia versus Northern Ireland, Lerner versus McBurney.
Oh God, Dave.
It's hard to take, Eddie, isn't it? It's a bit stressful now. We stood up a while ago and now I'm just like exhausted saying, how are these guys still in the fight? Incredible. The heat from practicing from 9 o'clock this morning. Now you've got 2 runs to go for a 50-50 chance at €20,000.
I'm just putting myself in the situation and I'm just thinking, I probably crumble.
I just fall on the ground. Here we go. It's going to be McBurney, the underdog, to go up against the Thunder from down under Mitch Lerner. It's for a shot in the final. Look at McBurney!
McBurney right there with Lerner. Oh, look at the angle from McBurney as he throws it onto the door of the Australian. Can he keep the proximity? Dives a little down the inside to try and regain proximity. Lerner unfazed. The Western Australian phenom is just shredding up this Mondello circuit.
But look at McBurney
to take this streak, but McBurney right there with him, Dave.
McBurney's still in the fight. McBurney is putting it all on the line. He's not giving it
a big dive from McBurney. Wow, unbelievable stuff. Oh, but a big error.
That was the bravest run of the day from Mark McBurney, trying to hold the Irish pride against Lerner. What an entry from McBurney.
Look at this.
That is insane.
Look at the dive down the inside. Incredible bravery from McBurney. Insanity through that first corner.
And I'm telling you, McBurney saw about 30% of that run. Everything else was just smoke. He was on instinct there. And look at this. He loses a little bit of ground here, but goes right to the front wheel of Mitch Lerner. And that is what it's all about. Wheel to wheel, door to door. And McBurney, this is where he puts another huge dive in here. You might just read on the replay. Look at this, right to the door again. Lerner on big angle on a very shallow line there and pushes McBurney into the inside of the course. Does McBurney make the effort?
Gets a little caught.
Yeah, he gets
That'll
a little
be one
caught
for
there.
the judges to decide,
Yeah,
Dave. You and me ain't going to worry about that.
I'm not even getting involved. Nothing to do with me. Whether it was a mistake from McBurney or Lerner, we'll find out at the end of the run. But what I do know now is Mitch Lerner didn't expect that kind of an attack from Mark McBurney.
Certainly not. I mean, Mark McBurney, I mean, we've seen his talent in the past, but you know what? He probably hasn't progressed as far as we would have expected. This weekend, though, he has just looked unstoppable.
He's become a superstar. All of a sudden.
Overnight superstar.
Mark McBurney in the lead position now, the Australian. He's confident, but can he put away an on-form McBurney? McBurney's done half the job. Now he's going to go in there and throw caution to the wind in the lead position.
Lerner has to replicate it, Dave. He has no option. He has to go close here. Will he go door to door, side by side as they come down the stretch? Now Lerner tucks in. But look at the angle though from McBurney once again. But Lerner's right there with him. Wheel to wheel, a kick of dust from one of the drivers who drops the wheel. McBurney gets on that wide line. Can Lerner keep with him as they make their way to this transition? He appears through the smoke, almost gets caught as they throw it onto the wall. Look at the wall run from McBurney.
Oh, McBurney's gone! McBurney's gone! McBurney goes in the wall. Lerner goes into McBurney. What happened there? Are we going to have the dream final between McKeever and Lerner? Is it going to happen? I have to look at this one again on the replay. What went wrong? Lerner on a very poor line as he comes through the first corner. It looked like I was about to say he looks down on this one. It looks like it's not his day. But what went wrong for McBurney here as they transition back to the wall? You can see Mark McBurney bumper comes off. And does it lock the wheel? I'm not sure what happened. He just avoids impact.
You know what,
but guys, give it up for Mitch Lerner and Mark McBurney. That is what it's all about. You know what? I'm not even accepting that. Those guys put their blood and sweat into that run, risked it all. Grandstand on your feet for Mark McBurney and Mitch Lerner. Incredible display from both of these drivers. McBurney, the hero, but he may not have got as far as he wanted. Will we see McBurney against McKeever in the final? Will we see Lerner versus McKeever? The battle that never happened. Will it happen? Judges' results are in. It's for a shot in the final and 50% chance at 20 grand. Left for McBurney, right for Lerner. It's Mitch Lerner going to the final. Ah, it's too much, Eddie. 15 years of history on the line in the final, 20 grand. It's the biggest final we've ever had in the sport, and now it's going to happen. Australia versus Ireland, McKeever versus Lerner. Two battles never happened between those two. They fight for the first time ever with 15 years of an undefeated streak on the line. Incredible.
Do you believe in fate? That is the question.
You know what, if we wrote it, it would have been predictable. That's the thing. Incredible day. Go back to the judges on that one. Obviously, McBurney shutting down. You guys saw it as a 10-0.
Yeah, it really all comes down to that mistake from McBurney. He was just pushing way too hard in the lead run, and then 4 wheels off, just narrowly avoiding the wall. But that's really what it all comes down to. A 10-0 from that, and Mitch had an advantage from a slight advantage from the first run anyway, because of Mark shut down just before the finish line. So overall, Mitch takes the win.
So there you go. Mitch Lerner progresses through to the final, the dream final, the final that everybody spoke about. Duane McKeever versus Mitch Lerner. Mitch Lerner, Dave, has a shot. The shot that he has been waiting for 2 seasons. He has been coming to the Irish Drift Championship to take home that streak. He now has his first opportunity to take the streak, but he also has an opportunity to take home €20,000. That's probably $1 million Australian dollars. I'm not sure what the exchange rate is.
I think it's 40 billion Australian dollars or something like that.
Crazy anyway.
He's going to have 15 suitcases going through the airport if he wins that.
It's going to be private jet back to Australia.
He'll have to airship all the money back. But here's the thing: you go up against the man that hasn't been defeated in Ireland and the UK this year, Duane McKeever. It's the battle we wanted in Dún Laoghaire, and you know what? Now it makes sense that we didn't see it. Now it makes sense why fate made that engine go in Mitch Lerner's car, because they were saving it for this moment. And we're all here in attendance to witness history in the making. But right now we have got a 3rd and 4th place battle up for grabs. Hetty, I'm going to leave you with the 3rd and 4th place battle to call. I'm going down onto the track. I'm going to get a word with Lerner and McKeever before we go to war.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are almost set and ready to go with Joe Doyle and Mark McBurney, and that one, you know what, 1 step left on the podium, and one of these guys is going to take it. Very unfortunate that one of them has to go home without a trophy, or without a trophy, because 4th place finisher, you know, after fighting so hard all day. One of them, though, is going to take the final step on the podium. One of them's going home with nothing. Who's it going to be? McBurney, never been this far in the competition. Joe Doyle, looking for his first podium in the pro class. Mondello, are you ready for your 3rd and 4th place playoff? Just about saving yourselves for the final. McBurney looks to be ready on the line as we await Joe Doyle just to bring himself up to that start line, just composing himself. You can see it on your screens. 180SX versus R33 Skyline. 200 brake horsepower in the difference in power. A little bit in the difference. Joe Doyle a little bit more senior than Mark McBurney, but you know what? Mark McBurney has been phenomenal. The line and angles that he has pulled here today have been second to none. Joe Doyle has looked so quick through the circuit. What can he do? Which one is going to take it to the final step of the podium? We're still waiting for Joe Doyle to make it to the start line. As the perfect day in Mondello is about to come to an end, and Joe Doyle just looks to put a final little bit of scrub onto those tires and just compose himself before making it to the start line. This is a huge battle for these two guys, of course, wanting to take home as many championship points as possible, and of course getting themselves a secure position on that podium. I'm going to be joined momentarily by Neil Dunn, and Neil, you've worked very hard down in the pit area today.
Yeah, extremely hard today.
Sorry.
So there we go. Yeah, just getting used to the microphone system. Neil Dunn, though. Look, we are set to go for our 3rd and 4th place playoff. McBurney and Joe Doyle. Could you call it?
Definitely not. No. Oh, sorry. I'm live. Hello. No, definitely couldn't call it. Duane and Mitch have been just on fire all day. It's been unbelievable. But Mark McBurney, I mean, where is he pulling the speed out of? That little SR20 at the pin of its collar. The speed he's carrying through this course is amazing.
And we are ready to go, Neil. The final run of the day for these two drivers. Who is going to take it to the 3rd step of the podium? Will it be McBurney who leads them in? Joe Doyle in the chase position as they come down the stretch. Big weight transfer entry from Mark McBurney.
Look at the angle of Mark McBurney as he starts pulling the gap. But Joe Doyle is right there. He's getting up on time. Gets it. Dive right in at Mark McBurney.
But look at the line from McBurney, Neil. McBurney nailing that line.
Yeah,
And
huge angle into clip 7 there.
massively onto the wall. He's been running those balls perfectly all day. Now Joe Doyle looks to turn his screw, looks to get himself back into this one as he applies the pressure, but just loses ground again. And McBurney, who takes it across the line.
Wow.
Neil Dunn, what about that?
That's amazing driving. Again, where is Mark McBurney pulling this pace off? But that entry into clip 7, when he comes down and pulls that backwards entry into clip 7, was absolutely amazing. But look at this line from Mark McBurney as he brings it into clip 4. Lovely job around there. Joe Doyle doing a good job getting himself back into the battle here, but watch this as he comes into clip 7.
Look at this, 90 degrees, flat onto the wall. And, I mean, if you're Joe Doyle, you're going to go, just show your hands up in the air. What can I do?
What can you do with that? Absolutely nothing you can do with that. Amazing driving, though. Really, really good first half of this battle. Let's see what's going to happen around in the second half. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, they're certainly on their way back up to that start line. We will switch them around. Joe Doyle will lead in Mark McBurney for the second half, and he's got a job to do here because he knows he has to pull a gap. He has to just get it like at least 3 or 4 car lengths away from McBurney if he has a chance here.
But it's just not possible with the way Mark McBurney is driving. It's unbelievable. Joe Doyle certainly has the power. Joe Doyle has been driving absolutely amazing all day. But
the thing about this, Neil, is that both of these drivers deserve to take home a trophy.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. But unfortunately only one can, so we're going to have to see what way this half of the battle goes.
So we are almost set. We're waiting for the marshal to give instructions that the track is clear and that he's ready for the drivers. Here they go. Through the start gate comes Joe Doyle. They are side by side.
Oh, look at
McBurney sideways already.
Oh my God!
Sideways already from Mark McBurney.
That's amazing, but a little bit
And
of a gap.
a big dive down the inside
Whoa!
now onto the door of that skyline.
Can he keep it in there? He's going to really try to grid it out to clip 6 across the track. Work at this coming into clip 7. Joe Doyle right on the wall.
Tagging the wall, almost loose now here. Bumper. McBurney getting a little bit caught as Joe Doyle slows down a little bit. I'm not sure which way this one's going.
That's unbelievable. I think comes back in for the dive again. That's across the finish line.
Guys,
Claps
make
from the
some
judges.
noise. Mondello, show your appreciation. They gave it absolutely everything they had.
I mean, where could you get better entertainment than that? Two guys, absolute gladiators out there, throwing it down right in front of the grandstand here in Mondello Park for round 3. Unbelievable stuff.
Look, our top 24 had some mechanical problems in it, but you know what? Since top 16, we have just had battle after battle of door-on-door action. As they get out of their cars, grandstand, make some noise for Mark McBurney and Joe Doyle.
1-2.
So we're just waiting for the two guys.
So, it looks as though, Neil, that the judges have made their decision, and one of these drivers is going home with a third place finish, and one of these drivers is going home with nothing. Who's it going to be, Joe Doyle or Mark McBurney? Slide left for Doyle, right for McBurney. Who's it going to be? Kieran, Kevin and Dan, all in favour of your winner, Mark McBurney!
What the?
Give it up for McBurney and a round of applause for your 4th place finisher, Joe Doyle. What about that? We got to go back to the judges. Two guys giving it everything they had out there.
Yeah. First one there, Mark had a very good lead run. Joe had a reasonably good chase. He was slightly off clip 3, or no, he wasn't off clip 3, but he only barely got into clip 3. So after the first run there, it was fairly even. On the second run there, I think you saw yourself, Mark had great proximity all the way. Despite Joe having a big stall up as he came out towards clip 8, he slowed right up, but Mark seemed to deal with it very well, stayed on his door, so really great race. Big advantage for Mark on the second one.
So there you have it, Neil. Mark McBurney takes the final step on the podium, which leaves one thing remaining, and that is our final. And for that final, I'm going to hand you over to David Egan, who's going to talk us through it. €20,000 for 2 runs of a circuit in Mondello Park.
I'm not sure if this was a good idea, Eddie, because there's a lot of tension down here. You guys having a good time? Now, normally we let them just go to war and compete, but I think we should probably bring down, for the final that we have here, 15 years of history and €20,000 on the line, the biggest moment in Irish drifting, I would imagine. Why don't we bring the two boys down and have a word? What do you think? As if it couldn't get any more tense for them, we're going to bring them down. And as you can see straight away, Mitch Lerner wants it. These boys have battled through 80 drivers to be into the final two positions, and Lerner looks like he is trying to intimidate Duane McKeever from the off. Wow. Guys, give it up for Duane McKeever and Mitch Lerner. Now boys, come here, come here. It's never happened before in Irish drifting. Even this situation has never happened before. I want to take a little look just behind you. 20,000 euro. Life-changing amounts of money, and you have 2 runs with all that pressure on. Now here's the statistics, all right, Duane? You are currently undefeated this year. In order to stay undefeated, you would have to go through the man that you have never faced before, Mitch Lerner. However, I'm going to take a little bit of a presumption here and say, if you win this 20,000 euro, will we see Duane McKeever go to Europe next year and represent Ireland?
Oh, definitely, 100%. If I get this money, it's going to fund me to go to Europe next year, so 100% that's what we're aiming for.
And of course, we move it over to Mitch. Mitch, you have had the hardest road of anybody to a final here in IDC. You've blown an engine at round 2 when you were about to go up against this man, and we were saying in the tower, it looks like fate, right? It looks like fate that we got to wait. Last year at Fermoy, it was fate that it didn't happen, and Dunleary was fate. Now, you guys are good friends behind the scenes, but you said you wanted to come here and beat the streak. In 15 years, over 100 drivers, including world champions, have never, ever beaten the Irish on home soil. And right now, you get a shot at it. What are you feeling right now?
Honestly, I'm not even nervous, you know. Me and Duane are best mates out here.
You're a liar. You are a liar, my friend.
Honestly, I'm not. I've had enough stress for the last year and a half. And, you know, me and Duane have been waiting for this, and I know the whole crowd and the whole world have been waiting for this. And, you know, our cars are on point. I think we're both on point. We both qualified first and second. And, you know, when I woke up this morning, I knew we both had to do that. And, you know, like I said to you earlier today, Dave, before qualifying, I don't care if I take the back off the sides, the front, or blow another engine. I'm going through Duane to get that 20 grand and take the streak. So you'll see us. We're going to go to war, that's for sure.
Hey. We'll see if they're friends after the next 5 minutes. Well, now these guys are ready to go. That means everybody here has to be ready to go. One more time, Mondello, up on your feet. 15 years of history, 20 grand. Make some noise for Mitch Lerner and Duane McKeever. I think it's about time we got this one settled. Duane, Mitch, best of luck. 20 G's on the line. Grandstand, make some noise! I'm genuinely nervous right now. Eddie, Neil, what a phenomenal occasion. It was written in the stars.
Dave, we are absolutely shaking up here. This is just insane. One of these guys is going home with life-changing money. I mean, I just don't know what to say. Neil, I mean, you were driving yesterday. Just what type of emotion must these guys be? They seem so calm and collected, but
I don't know
how could you be?
I don't know how they're doing it, Eddie. I really don't, because at this stage I will be peppering inside that car.
These are 2 everyday, hard-working guys. Nothing special financially behind them. They're not millionaires. They sacrifice everything to be here. And when people say to you, I'd give anything to be Duane McKeever, give anything to be Mitch Lerner, they're lying, because if they did, they would be Duane McKeever and they'd be Mitch Lerner.
Yeah.
Those guys give everything they have. That's why they're in the position. We are almost ready to go. Northern Ireland versus Western Australia. I'm about ready to collapse here.
I'm ready to jump out of this tower if this battle goes the way we think it's going to go.
So as they ready themselves on the line and warm their tires for the last time this weekend, the prize fight, the moment we have been building towards all weekend, is almost here. The final that we have been waiting for since a blown engine at round 2 deprived us of seeing this battle happen. It's been written in the stars. He could have given up. He could have said, I'm never going back to Ireland, but he brought himself back. He brought an engine on board a flight with him to Ireland.
Everybody on their feet for the final. Everybody in this grandstand up on your feet for the final. Have you ever felt tension like this in drifting before? Insane. The boys are on the line. They're ready to go. They're going to put their cars and bodies on the line for your entertainment. Mondello, are you ready for the final? This is going to be insane. Lerner versus McKeever. They line up. With Lerner taking, look at this, the mind games, waiting that little bit, letting Duane McKeever sit on that start line and have a think about it. Let him get nervous, because you heard Mitch Lerner say he's not nervous. He said this is the battle he's wanted for 2 years to prove himself. To be the best, you've got to beat the best. Well, 100 have tried, and in all of that time of 15 years, no one has succeeded. 2 runs to get the job done, and he is relaxed in the car. Duane McKeever, Mitch Lerner, Mondello, you ready to send him? They're on the line. It looks like we're ready to go. It's the final for €20,000. It is McKeever to lead in Lerner. Here we go. Look at Lerner. Lerner fires through the first corner. Loses a little bit of ground to McKeever. McKeever takes a risk to the outside. And look at Lerner now starting to reel him in. Lerner's gunning for it. He's coming for a huge dive. Oh! Lerner takes the wall. What a dive from Lerner. And he's back into the fight again as he goes for Duane McKeever's door. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for McKeever and Lerner. Oh, Eddie, Neil, what a battle.
Yeah, well, look, Dave, what can you say? Look at the aggression on entry here from Lerner, just getting nice and wide out to that third zone, and McKeever keeping it pinned, keeping his composure. I mean, you have that V8 breathing down your neck the entire way around the circuit. Look at the transition onto the wall, Neil, inches between that. That will happen right in front of our eyes.
Inches between it, but unfortunately Lerner does make contact with the wall there, which may definitely affected his line. Whether it's going to affect his score overall, I don't know. So certainly small little gaps between them. We're going to see what happens on the second half of this battle.
Incredible stuff from both drivers. Will we see Mitch Lerner take down 15 years of history and win €20,000? Or will Duane McKeever win €20,000, the budget he needs to go represent Ireland next year in the Driftmasters European Championship? It has never meant so much. It's the last run of the day. One more roar, Mondello! This is it. It all comes down to 40 seconds in Mondello. Drivers are ready, we're ready. Are you guys ready? Here we go. McKeever, Lerner, who's gonna take it home? Not a pin drop, right? Here we go, McKeever comes through the gears. He's in the chase position, Lerner in the lead position. It's the last run of the day, it's for all the marbles. Lerner throws it in, bit of separation. McKeever now starts to make the dive. Lerner now gets to the outside of the course. Not the proximity from McKeever we've seen earlier. As they transition back, look at this. McKeever starting to come through. And right onto the door we go. Right onto the door we go as McKeever now starts to chase in Lerner. And McKeever loses him a little bit in the smoke. It is so tense. It is so incredible. Make some noise, Mondello Park. That is what it's all about. It's emotional, it sucks you in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the beautiful sport of drifting. That is what it's all about. And you know what? I think this decision is going to be talked about for quite some time by our judges.
Yeah, look, a lot in this one, Dave, and the judges really deliberating over it, paying very close attention to this replay. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one go one more time. Neither run perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but Mitch doing such a good job in that lead position, Neil, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting that gap away from Duane there. Duane never really got as close, I suppose, as Mitch at any point, but Mitch certainly made a mistake in the first run, so let's see how this is going to work out. As we go down to Davies, congratulate the two lads down there.
Yeah, look, this one not done yet. Judges calling for another replay as they just want to see this one more time.
Before we get a decision, Eddie, everybody in Mondello Park on your feet and an ovation for Duane McKeever and Mitch Lerner. Eddie, I'm going to throw it back to you guys. Let us know, has there been a decision?
No decision yet, Dave. Still watching replays and discussing this one quite intently.
But a massive decision, as you can imagine. It's a huge decision to make, so we're not going to take it lightly at any point.
A 20 G's decision here, and you know, both drivers doing good jobs throughout the runs. A few little mistakes, but it looks as though, and just getting the thumbs up, Dave, from our head judge, Kieran Hines. Ladies and gentlemen, in the grandstand and all around Mondello Park, we have a decision, which means we have a winner, which means we will be handing over to you, Dave, to the grandstand podium ceremony, which will follow momentarily.
So the runs are over, the event is over, one of these guys has won. The judges have had a good deliberation, meaning it was not an easy decision. We bring out the €20,000 check to the podium. And of course we will bring down Mark McBurney taking third place on the podium also. What an incredible day. Have you guys had a good day in Mondello? Before we get to the decision, Duane, it was the final we all knew it would be. It was intense. Talk us through it.
Oh, the words can't even describe it, but on my shift run there, my car has busted a water pipe, so whenever I stand to catch, there was just water going in my back wheels, and I thought I actually debeated the tyre until I come in there and I see steam and the coolant flying everywhere, so the water was acting around my back tyres, and that's why I couldn't get the grip to catch Mitch, but hopefully I've done enough to pull it.
And where's Mr. Rich Lerner? You gave it absolutely everything. This place was absolutely bananas. What an ovation from the stand here. Whichever way it goes, you will be etched into the memories of every Irish drift fan, and today, probably every fan from around the world. What a day.
Oh, unbelievable, eh? Like, Duane, my best mate in Ireland, he is fucking unbelievable. You know, he's got the pace, he's got everything. He's on point. We rub bumpers, we rub wheels. You know, I gave it everything. He just had the pace on me on the first corner, and the car stalled up on me a bit coming through here, and I straightened up. So I'd say I know he's got the win, but you know what? I had an awesome day. Once again, we proved to the world that we're here and we're mixing it up. And you know, Duane McKeever better watch out, because I know I'm coming back, and I'm not going to stop until I beat this man. So. Well,
just to say, there was a lot of deliberation and a lot of replays going on in the tower, so you never know which way it's going to go. One more time, guys, make some noise for Mitch Lerner and Duane McKeever. But before we get to the all-important decision, we need another huge Mondello grandstand roar for taking third position. Give it up for Mark McBurney! Onto the podium you go. And this one is for all the marbles. If Mitch Lerner takes it, 15 years of history, of undefeated history wiped away, and 20,000 in his pocket. If Duane McKeever gets the win, he goes to Europe to represent Ireland next year in the Drift Masters European Championship and stays undefeated, 5 from 5 events in 2018. I can announce that the driver taking second position on the podium. I'm just gonna hold it for a minute. Is Mitch Lerner! Meaning your winner of €20,000 is the Northern Smoke Machine, Duane McKeever! We want to thank everybody for making this event special. What an incredible achievement for all of these drivers. Ladies and gentlemen, please get up for third place, Mark McBurney, second for Mitch Lerner, and your winner, Duane McKeever! As the champagne flies, we want to thank you guys for tuning in online, here in attendance. We are back in August for Punchestown and round 4 of the championship. Until then, from me and Eddie and everyone in the tower, thanks for tuning in. Once again, guys, give it up for Duane McKeever!